Hello. Who's
Hello,
out there?
everybody.
Kyle. How is the best Kyle? What's up, man?
Oh, just living life, man. It's been a good day. It's been a great day.
Yeah, you want to tell people about your day?
Well, yeah, I came out as pansexual to
Two
my parents
came
and
out
my
to.
girlfriend.
Wait a minute, you blinked or something. Say again.
Oh, I came out as pansexual to my parents and my girlfriend, and it
There
went
you go.
really well.
Nice.
So that is a huge relief off my shoulders.
Right. One less thing you got to worry about.
Yep.
Yeah, I wish I would have done that years ago, man. Oh, I didn't get up until like 1:30. I went to sleep at like 2 something and fucking slept for like almost 11 hours. And
Wow.
so what I figured was, yeah, I was in my own bed and I got really high and I went to sleep and I just never set an alarm. And I think it was like 1:13 when I woke up. So,
Yeah, I got up at
yeah.
5 a.m. because my body just wakes me up at that time. Oh, thanks, Aaron.
Uh, oh, well, yesterday was pretty easy. We just drove back, so I wasn't really tired, so I stayed up late.
hmm
So
Yeah, my sleep schedule's all over the place nowadays. I go to
huh.
sleep at like 3 in the morning, wake up at 5, take a few naps throughout the day.
Yeah, I do that weekend nap thing. Like the one day of the week where I don't leave the house on the weekend, I don't go anywhere, I don't do anything. I'll take it like one nap in the middle of the day at like 1 or 2 or something like that.
Oh, by the
Yeah.
way, I've been wanting to ask, how's the new
What?
job going?
Oh man, it's going pretty good. I went to LA, drove over there with this young kid. He's like 24, I think, or something, 25. He's half my age, that's all I know.
Around
And
my age, yeah.
yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Somewhere around you and Larry's age. Yeah, that's correct. So, yeah, we drove to because she doesn't want us driving at night. She doesn't want us driving more than like 8 to 10 hours, 10 when necessary, but normally like 8, just like a work day. And so we drove to Kingman, Arizona, crashed there for the night. There was some big car rally in town. We ended up with a shitty fucking hotel room. I mean, it wasn't shitty. The bed was uncomfortable. But it was clean.
That's the
And
worst
then
part, though.
yeah, I know. That's why you're there. Like, I don't care how pretty the tile is on the floor. Put some goddamn nice fucking mattresses on the bed, man. That's what's important.
Right.
So, anyways, we spent the night there and we drove into LA the next morning. Got there in like it was like a 5.5 hour drive from where we were, and got into LA and got a hotel room and crashed. Got up in the morning, unloaded the shit in like 35 minutes at the place, and then started heading back. Got to Kingman, crashed in Kingman. Like that's just what we did, and then came back. Got back yesterday afternoon.
Does it feel good to
So
be driving again?
yeah, it's kind of nice to be going somewhere and doing something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I do tend to miss that. Um, Dr. Cross and Aaron and who I don't know. Anybody wants to come in, that link's up there.
Yeah,
Any of
come
you
on in.
guys are
Water's
welcome.
fine.
OA, catnip, all you guys. I got a kitty on my lap.
I want catnip to join.
I got plenty of catnip. Just don't tell him where it's at. Oh, you mean the person, right? Yes, I'd love to have catnip in here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I forgot. Dad forgot he's got some of that. I need to give it to you before it gets too blah. And it's no fun anymore.
Oh, man.
Anyways, yeah, so uh Since we left Saturday, I had today off. So Bolt was streaming earlier on Twitch, and I hung out with them for a few minutes. Bolt and Catnip and Bootsy and
Yeah, I was there for a
bullshitted.
little bit.
Oh, were you? I couldn't see
Yeah.
the chat. Yeah. And then I got off of that and I played on my phone for a little while, made some coffee, and here we are. So
Yeah,
I've only been up for like
I
not even 4 hours yet. Or no, not even 6 hours yet.
it's gonna be a long night for you then.
That's all I've done today. Oh no, I'll go to bed early. It's fine. I'll just get really high. I'll go to sleep.
So when I get really high, I don't sleep. I just sit there and think about everything.
No, dude, that's the rest of my life. I smoke pot, so I'll stop thinking. Like,
Maybe it's because I'm
God.
ADHD. Maybe it interacts with me
No, I
differently.
am ADHD.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Maybe
Well,
Beck,
also,
we're
it depends.
different ADHD.
Well, plus probably depends on the THC percentage. And here we are talking about weed. Come on in, Dr. Cross. THC percentage and what kind you smoke and the different strains affect people differently. And, so lots of stuff.
There's a car alarm going off outside my house. Give me just a moment here.
Damn, you ask and you receive, both of us.
Going off outside my house.
Did someone say weed?
Yes, I did.
I heard weed.
Weed's great.
Did someone say weed?
I was
And that's how we got her in here.
I heard weed.
Okay. Did you kill
My
the
camera's
background
all
there?
Yeah.
Dr. Trouble.
Oh, I'm hearing an echo.
Yep.
That's me.
Yeah, well,
Things happen.
No headphones.
Well, if you turn down the input volume on your mic and turn down the output on your computer a little bit, it's less likely to pick it up.
Exactly.
Yeah, that. Something like that. Don't ask me. Ask Kyle and Catnip. I am computer defunct for the most part. I know how to use them, but
It's just because you're an old man. It's okay. We forgive you.
I lost her again.
No.
Every time I see a hot woman, she disappears.
How are you doing, Catnip?
Ox, everybody can always call me B. I've had that nickname for fucking almost 20 years now. Actually, about 21 years now. So, yeah, B is always going to be there. Is going to be there. Woo! She's back. So,
She's back
so
and I don't hear
what's going on?
Hell yeah.
Talking about weed and helping people sleep.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
gonna help. Yep.
So what I think it is, Kyle, is because when you're ADHD, well, for most of us, including me, that are ADHD, if you smoke marijuana, it will help you hyper focus on things because your brain's so used to trying to concentrate on 20 things at once, and you can narrow down to like one or two, and then you're really thinking about that one thing. So I think that's why it's keeping you up.
Probably. I always have something on my mind, my mind races and races all the time with thousands of thoughts a second, it feels like. And pot, while it tames the traffic in my head, sometimes what I end up focusing on is just the wrong thing. Like, not to get morbid, but like fear of death, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Ugh.
No, I get it. See, but that's mixed with anxiety, bro.
Yeah, for sure.
You got to work on the anxiety part. You get rid of that anxiety part. See, basically, this is what I do. I mean, everybody's got their own way of handling anxiety and stuff like that. My way to handle anxiety is I tell it to fuck off. I get mad at it. I'm like, no, you're not ruining my fucking day. Fuck you. Kiss my ass. Leave me alone.
Yeah, I remember you telling me that.
And by doing that, I take my power back away from it. So it's a win-win. And I really haven't I've only had like in the last like 10 years. No, let's go lower than less than that. In the last 5 years, I've probably had like 2 anxiety attacks.
2 in 5 years? Wow, that's impressive. I have like 1 a day.
Every time it starts, I get mad at it, bro. I tell it to fuck off. I'm serious.
I must be a wimp then, because instead of telling it to fuck off, I'm like, hey, why don't you flip off, you stupid.
Well, one of the things that the molecules in cannabis do is help you forget trauma. So I have this thing. So I'm not perfect, as y'all know. Yeah. So my picker for some people has been off, and I noticed with all my exes, for sure, that have been abusive. Like, I don't even remember them. I could see them in a room. They could walk up next to me. I don't remember them. It's really, really, really great for working through trauma. So if you can find a therapist that works with cannabis,
that would be great. Unfortunately, every
it really helps
therapist
forget all the details of trauma. You know, I mean, I feel like I've dated some real losers. Especially like people who manipulate, and it's maybe not physical abuse, but like manipulation and all that kind of stuff. I mean, that can be kind of hard to struggle through because I don't think everybody realizes like how violent that is.
Right. It's traumatizing.
Hey, Ox, what part of what was said is bull? Prove it, because I don't know when you typed that out. Can you clarify for me so we can you mansplain it to me, bro? What you're saying? John Hudson had said that explains why I've been smoking for 45 years. And since we're talking about weed, Sammy came into the chat, which is not shocking. Hello, beautiful. He's a beautiful guy. He's cute.
Oh, yeah. No, I agree with Ox.
Oh, I know, right? I know. She is perfect. She's amazing.
Not perfect. You guys, I have a wall of successes and failures. And granted, I have a lot of successes, right? I've gotten a lot of awards and stuff. But I have like 3 failures. One was I didn't get into Oregon Health Science University for grad school. That's one thing I framed. And then I didn't get a grant in grad school due to my undergrad GPA, which was stupid. So I framed that. And now I have a rejection from a state school to teach. And I'm going to frame that too.
They're a lot.
Okay, so right? let me point out the differences here between, let's say my failures in life and Dr. Cross's failures. Okay.
Well, I only have 3. So first of all,
I can't find a good, stable relationship. I never went to college because I figured, what the fuck's the point? I'm never going to pass it anyways. I have the longest I've ever held a job in my life was 8.5 years. And no, I'm sorry, that's not true. It was 7.5 years. And that's just because I got along with everybody and it was just easier to stay than to go try to find another job. So my average time at a job is probably, if you average out all the jobs I've had, it's probably like 7 or 8 months. And then I just leave. I'm done. I move on. I got so many failures and none of them involve, I went to college and something undergrad / grad school. So, I'm thinking that maybe that you should just throw those in the trash and chalk it up to, oops, I was Uncle Beck for a second and just move on with your life.
You know,
because you're amazing.
I'm someone that I still count my failures because, like, I feel like if you were real with yourself and you counted how many things you really wanted that you got and things that you didn't get, I feel like everybody would be in the positive.
Well, yeah, if you count everything, like, oh, I really wanted this game system and I saved up the money and bought it for myself, or I really wanted to buy these series of games and they're expensive. So, I mean, if you went all the way down to like that up to, I have a house, I have the career I want, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, you probably end up with more pluses than minuses. Well, most people would.
Yeah.
I agree.
Success over failure.
And Beck, I will not tolerate the negative self-talk. You are awesome.
I know.
You guys are just biased. Anyways,
maybe so, but we love you.
I mean,
so
everything's biased.
Right? Everybody's biased.
And everybody,
and people say to me, I'm not biased. And I'm like, you have no opinions? Well, yeah, I do. Okay, that instantly makes you biased, dumbass.
I mean, science people say that all the time. This is an unbiased. No, it's not. It's biased because you're like making the questions. You're like, you as a being are biased and you're making something. So it's biased. It doesn't matter if it's fucking science or like an art piece. It's biased.
Well, I base my judgments on Beck on the interactions I've had with him. So there. Take that.
Sammy, when you gonna come visit me? I'm thinking about trying out pitching for the other team. So you should come visit me and then I can experiment with you.
Ooh.
Well, look, I've known Sammy for like 2.5, almost 3 years now. I know he's safe and he's a really sweet guy and he's good looking. So, why not?
There you go.
If you're going to experiment, find somebody that you're comfortable with.
Sammy.
John said, I got all the sex and I'm done. I haven't had enough, John. I mean, simply because I want that other body part that is so severely involved in all my fantasies. Yeah, I'll be in a better place then. Yeah, Bolt, I'm gonna Mac. Fuck it. Speaking of Mac, where is Mac? Dr. Cross has nobody to flirt with right now.
What?
Mac the human.
What did I do?
That's the one you're always like, hey, good looking. The one with the beard that's always up here.
Oh.
Well, randomly up here. He's a good looking dude with a beard.
But,
Yeah.
I trimmed my beard. It's the shortest. I trimmed my beard off, and it's the shortest it's been since high school. My face feels naked.
How long is your beard right now, man? I've never seen you without one.
It's probably like a 1/4 inch.
Oh, so you got Beck fur.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at, bro.
The profile picture I have is no longer what it looks like.
Right.
I was just tired of messing with it. Like, I have a shitload of beard oil that I use and all sorts of products, and I was like, you know what? I'm just starting over.
You know what? Must be nice, buddy.
You can have mine. I will donate my beard.
John said, I'm hetero, and I would do Sammy.
I got news for you then.
Hey, Sammy's a good-looking guy, and he's funny, and he smokes weed. Like, that's all I need. Just make sure you clean your ass. We'll get on the phone. What
were you saying, Kat?
I was saying that you should grow your beard until you can braid it.
I was gonna buy a beard ring to put in it.
Norse style.
Oh yeah. I've got the Norse tattoos, so. But yeah, this will take another probably 7 months to get back to where I was.
Sorry, I had to give them treats so they quit meowing. So now it's quiet. I can unmute.
Yeah, that works on me too.
Yeah, me too, man. You want to shut me up? Give me a steak. That'll shut me right the fuck up. Don't put A1 on it either. I want a steak, damn it.
Steak and some weed and Beck is done.
Steak, weed, and some taters. I need some kind of starch. And then I'm good to go. That's it. It's all gone, guys. Go back to your constant napping. Yeah, no, it's growing in, Sammy. It's just like it's not getting thick yet. It's still really patchy. But my fucking sideburns are kicking, man. My sideburns are looking great. I shaved my mustache off because I wanted to try to get it to come in dark. It looks like it's coming in blondish white again, so that'll be my last time I try that. It worked for the rest of it, but it's not working for the stash. So yes, my picture is perpetrating a fraud. It is not that thick yet. I wish.
Give it time.
Yeah, it'll come in. I mean, shit, I don't even hit a year on T until September 7th. So,
nice.
Well, no, actually, you don't count the first month, so it'd be October 7th. So I really, because then it's actually like starts building up in your system and doing something. So pretty much when people say I'm on T for blah, blah time, you don't count the first month. So it would actually be from October 7th until May 7th is where I'm at now. So 6 months? No. Sorry. 8 months? I don't know. What fucking month is it? Jesus Christ.
Oh my God, it's May. That means my birthday is
7 months.
Hell yeah.
7 months. I'm almost at 7 months. That's it.
So for about the amount of time I've known you, because you and I met back in September.
Oh yeah, we did, didn't we? Was it September?
Yep. I was on Neil's show in September.
Here's a little fucker. Ooh. Oh, and he ducks down. Ha ha! Oh, bro, you got me, man. Scared the shit out of me. Hold on, I gotta go wipe. I'll be back.
How you doing, buddy?
What up? Sorry, I gotta mute the stream. I was getting doubles for a second. I couldn't hear.
Yeah, none of that double shit, man. How are your stags?
Not too bad. Not too bad.
Good, man.
Yeah.
Good. How was Halo earlier? I saw you were gonna stream it and then I missed it.
I only did it for like half an hour because I ended up like my timing's so messed up, man. My kids get home at like 4 and then they want dinner at like 5:30, and like that's always like right when I'm streaming, and I got to get that all sorted out. But yeah, they did the new Halo season, so I was checking.
Damn kids always wanting fed. Jesus.
I know. Like, didn't they feed you at school?
Then yeah, I know. Isn't that what school's for, man?
Yeah.
Are you trying to eat at home too?
Why is everybody muted?
Sammy turned 40 on the 3rd of May.
I'm muted because I'm smoking.
So like our yesterday then. So I saw you yesterday somewhere, didn't I? Why didn't you tell me? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Sammy. Happy birthday to you. And many more. There you go. You got a happy birthday song from me.
If I went back in time to my younger self, you know how we always like to think about that. I think I wouldn't get the chance to say anything. My younger self would be like, "Why the are you still alive, dude?"
Dude, I thought I did a better did you not do a good job at ending it sooner? We didn't want to be alive at 30, 40 years old. What are you doing, bro?
Oh, we had this worked out, man. What's going on?
No, you know what? My 18-year-old self would be like, I'll be goddamned. I really didn't think I'd make it through all this shit. Yeah. Like, seriously, if I could go back and tell my 18-year-old self that I'd be okay and to start working on it now and don't wait because it makes your life harder, that would have been a good idea.
You know what had happened is I'd end up grandfather paradoxing myself because I'd go back and I'd be like, check it out, man. Everything gets better. You get clean, you get healthy, you drop all the alcohol and drugs and everything's going to be fine. You survive, you make it, you have a couple little beautiful children. And then the younger me would be like, oh, well, then I guess I'll just go as hard as possible if I'm going to make it.
Yeah, no, don't tell him. Don't tell him, man. You went hard enough, bro. Don't tell him.
You're going to fuck up the timeline, man.
Yeah.
Guess
I don't have anything to worry about. I'll crank this fucker up to 11.
That's why you don't want to go back and mess with your younger anything because of that shit.
Oh, pardon me, everybody. My girlfriend wants me to call her real quick. I will be right back.
Go.
Fly
with the wind, young man.
Away!
Away! Anyways. I'm in a weird mood today, guys. Sorry. Oh my God, my brother's alive. That's nice to know. Why not consider that if much older you visited you today, start believing the statement now, peace and respect. Love you too, brother. Peace and respect. If you want to come in, this is an open mic thing. We're just hanging out and BSing. Nothing.
I see what he said.
We're not getting all serious. Huh?
Well, not to get too serious, but I think we should unpack what Richard said there a little bit. I think that's a good statement. He's saying that maybe 30 years from now, the older you comes back and talks to you today. So start acting like that's the case. Quit thinking the future is so grim or whatever. I don't know.
Huh. Oh, that's the statement of a guy that's not depressed.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, well, you know. Ox just hit 34 years with his wife. Congratulations, buddy. That's great. Tomorrow, mañana.
That's amazing.
I live in the land of mañana. Everybody's, we'll do it tomorrow. It's fine. It's fine. Can wait till tomorrow. Yeah, Sammy said so optimistic, right? It is true though, you know. I don't know. It's hard to see to a happy future when you're ended up knees up in the dregs right now, so it makes it it's difficult to slog through. It's true, it's true. What say you, Catnip? No, Dr. Cross. Nobody.
What say me about what?
What we were just talking about.
Beck.
Oh,
sorry, Beck.
I was saying something. I don't know. I don't know that I would want a 50-something-year-old me to come back and talk to me now.
Even if it was to give you hope and relief and to let you know you were going to end up being an amazing person.
I don't know that that's the news they would give me.
This is the point. You
survived, but you're an asshole.
We're trying to encourage ourselves to live in such a way as to assume that is the news they would give us. And it could only help. You know what I mean?
Right. Fair. But assumptions make an ass out of you and me.
Yeah.
Gotta be careful with those assumptions.
If I had done what I thought I was going to do when I was younger, then I wouldn't be here. But I am here. So why live like you're going to do that? Like, you might as well plan for tomorrow. And if tomorrow never comes, well, then it didn't come.
That's a Garth Brooks song. If tomorrow never comes. Anyways. Hi, brother.
Do you know that he's one of the highest selling musicians in the world?
I know, isn't it crazy? He's got some good shit, though. I mean, real talk. Richard Madsen, how are you?
Beck Madsen, how are you?
I'm all right. I've been wondering where I have emailed you like 5 times in the last.
I've been working so much.
You can't just say I'm alive. That's literally all I was asking.
Oh, that's alive? Assuming a person has time to check their email.
Well, but how do we know it's not checking email and not,
this is why I don't have a phone.
Wrong.
This is exactly why I don't have a phone. See, now only occasionally when I don't answer emails does someone assume something's wrong. Nothing's wrong. I'm just working a lot. If it was a phone, it would be 20 times a day people assumed I was dead. That's all. So I'm not getting one.
Oh, no, I know that. But just usually within like your biggest lapse of answering emails is 4 to 5 days, not like over a week.
Yeah. When was the last time that I was working 7 days a week?
I don't remember, bro.
Okay, well, I'm doing that now, so.
Okay.
I
feel it.
I pretty much
got today off because I worked the whole weekend. Huh?
I pretty much, work, eat, fall unconscious, repeat.
Right. Yeah, I remember doing that in my past. I remember you doing that in our past. So yeah,
I've done it a couple times.
Yeah. No, I left
I
left Saturday morning and went to LA with Ian, the young kid. He's a good guy.
Yeah.
And then dropped off a load and came back. Yeah. So I got today off because I worked Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Yeah.
Right on. How'd you like the trip? Was it good?
It was so easy, and
I thought so.
It was like
because your load weighs what?
Well, normally they'll have small pieces of art that will go on top, and you strap it down or whatever. Well, this was a X-use load, which means someone paid us just to move their shit.
Yeah.
So it pays more, and so so there was only 7 crates in the back of the truck.
Yeah,
and we had to use like the J bar to get them out and stuff, but Ian and I did it with no problem.
Mm-hmm.
And we had it unloaded in like 30-35 minutes, and we were out of there.
Well, congratulations. Yeah. I'm glad it was enjoyable. And what would future you say to right now you about depression?
Sucks, bro. Still got it. Sorry about your luck. I don't know.
I mean, that would be the case if the future you were still suffering from depression. But what if not?
Well, yeah. Okay. Well, that would be nice, right? Yeah. It's true.
Because you assume something that like is that a is
possibility.
Not, permanent. Right. Like you have gotten better than you were before. You have learned introspection and self-critique, and
I do that too
and
much.
Looked at those things looked at yourself because of those skills that you've gained. What if you gained more skills and you became cured of this PTSD, depression, etc.?
Well, that would just be lovely.
Well, it's not impossible, right?
I mean, nothing is impossible until proven to be, and I can't prove otherwise, so I can't say it's impossible.
Sure. And there's nothing logically impossible about that.
So, yeah, I guess I'd have to say it's logically possible.
So if we assumed that, if we determine it's logically possible, and then we assume that that's, a best case scenario future, sure, but a possible future, what would future you cured say to present you? I mean, aside from I love you and you're a great person, and that's evident every day. Aside from that, it's those things which are obvious.
I mean, I don't know, because I don't know what I'm going to be. It's hard to put myself in shoes I'm unaware of what they're going to end up being. So I'm not sure what I would say, because whatever I would say would pertain to what I know at that point.
What would you want your best friend to say?
I don't know. Encouraging sentiments.
No, I mean, future best friend who knows you and knows you're cured at future time. What would future best friend, what's the best thing they could say? If it can't be you, how about
just to let me know it'll be all right, I guess. Just that confirmation. Everything's going to be fine.
I like Sandy's answer. It's a good answer.
Yeah, well, the kicking myself is always the hardest part to kick. Dun-dun-dun.
Dun-dun-dun. It's addictive to kick yourself.
Well, I mean, I'm a pro at it. I've been doing it for almost 33 years now.
Hells yeah.
Actually, it's not even true. I started way before I was 18.
You number one, girl. I'm telling you, you're the best.
Anyways. Anybody else want to weigh in on that? Fine, Stags. Now you shut up.
I actually had something just very, very weird happen. Something very, very weird just happened to me. I saw. Now I don't have like. There's only like 100 or so people that I'm following on Twitter and that are following me, right? And somebody just tweeted a saying that the exact word for word saying that I coined over a decade ago. And it's probably just parallel thinking, but it's the exact phrase. And it is, the early bird may get the worm, but it's the second mouse that gets the cheese. And I know that I invented that myself. I'm not saying I'm the only one who had,
exactly
but
like
that's very specific. That's very specific, right?
So you're having kind of a Vujade moment.
Well, no, I'm just wondering if something that I invented actually made it out into the world and is catching on now. Or if this is a person that followed me before on Twitter, because I know I've said that on Twitter, like on my older accounts and stuff.
It sounds like
I'm kind of proud of it. I'm kind of proud of it. I know that it might not be, they might not have gotten it from me. They may have just come up with it themselves too, but
I do too.
I really like it.
Point is, you don't have to be number one. Number two will be all right as well. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And also, like, you don't have to overextend yourself to get something that's meant for you, right?
Exactly.
Oh, an academic saying that in the house.
Oh no, not academic.
It's not natural. It ain't right. Move on.
Bolt said he's heard that many times before, Stags.
Doesn't mean you didn't originate it.
This is the first time I've ever heard anybody besides me say that exact phrase.
I'm going to tell you a story.
I know I didn't get it from anybody else because I remember sitting there and thinking it up and getting it right. You know what I mean?
When I was 13, 14, I think 14 going into 15 years old that year, everybody was saying that the new thing that just came out was Life's a Bitch. Mm-hmm. And everybody was saying life's a bitch, life's a bitch. And I said, life's a bitch, and then you die. And then 2 years later, I saw it on shirts everywhere.
Yep.
So I know what you mean, man. Like shit like that happens. You just don't know anybody else that came up with it. Doesn't mean that somebody on the other side of the United States didn't come up with it at the same time.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also,
light side of that thought.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I was like, also, Keel came up with the combination lock on the outside of a door so you could never lock your keys inside about a year and a half, 2 years before they came out. That's Richard and I's brother. He never did anything about it. He should have patented that shit. He would have been rich.
We need merch.
Light side of the Stag's observance. The light side. Maybe you just have popular thoughts, and those popular thoughts, for reasons of likability, become popular with other people.
I mean, I just Googled it, and it's author unknown is what it says.
I have to give the dark side of the same thought, though. Maybe you don't have original thoughts, and someone else thought of it too, like maybe at the same time.
Well, evolutionary biologists would tell you we all have the same chemicals, so even a sponge could have thought of it. It just couldn't express the thought.
Right.
And maybe it'd take it a decade to think of it. I mean,
a sponge doesn't know what cheese is.
Not going to do that in 5 minutes.
I did just Google it to see if I could find out like where it originated, and it says author unknown.
That's not true. Because Stags is right here. And we know it.
Yeah.
So you need to write a correction to that. Because the author is known.
Well, I can't prove that.
Boy, that makes me want to go right to a religious topic that is completely inappropriate right now.
But one more thing about the parallel thing. Let me just squeeze this in. We do all live in the same society and have a lot of the same stimuluses in our lives. And
right.
So it's not that unusual that different people would come up with the same things at the same time because
especially if they speak the same language, because language is like certain words sound good even together.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're influenced by commercials and, ads on the radio and whatever happens at work and what people are talking about. And, yeah, I agree. Richard, what were you going to say?
I could say something right now. That's exactly what mentalists take advantage of. That's their whole job, is to take advantage of human nature in that exact way.
Sandy said, with 8 billion human on this earth, a whole hell of a lot of people are thinking the same things at the same times. Yeah.
Not the stuff I'm thinking.
That's a fact.
Yeah, it says this saying was all over the internet in the 1990s. So I couldn't have been the first one. just like 10 years ago or something.
Oh.
10 or 12 years ago.
Maybe you saw it somewhere and then you like remembered it subconsciously too.
Yeah.
Well, then he wouldn't have to work it through.
But I specifically remember working it, like workshopping the saying and making it just right.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
That's okay. We've had multiple inventions that were already patented.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it seems like multiple societies multiple cultures around Earth invented the sling and the bow and arrow around the same time, independently of each other.
There was probably no memo when those things became, tools.
Yeah. Imagine one chieftain going into another tribe and being like, "Hey, you guys are, that's my intellectual property you guys are using right here. I invented that. You're going to have to pay me royalties."
What's really funny about that statement, Sandy, is actually you wouldn't know this from my public life, but actually I'm mostly quiet, and although I am strongly opinionated, I don't often give my opinions on things. Although Beck could tell you I'm pretty much a keep to yourself kind of person, actually.
Yep.
Except when I was a kid being a comedian, then I used to, of course, but I was trying to earn something, so that's different.
It's true. I think you meant because you talk to so many people on here.
I'm sure, but this is an effort for me. It's not natural.
Right.
Is what I'm saying.
No, that's absolutely the truth.
Like when Beck and I work together, I'll comment on things. And we'll sing. And we'll sing a lot.
Yeah.
We do sing. But, yeah, why'd you go and get a job? What's up with that?
Do you know how much it pays?
What? I was offering you like $15 an hour. Come on.
Oh, my God,
15
man.
an hour cash.
So much
pays
more
like
than
17.
That.
I mean.
So much more than that.
Figures. Whore. Just sold yourself out. Just all about the money. Great.
And these people actually give you a vacation.
No way.
Every year. Yeah.
Have you ever had a paid vacation? I mean, aside from military.
No, not really. No.
I had a job that did that. It was a pretty good job.
And they give you sick days as well. And I said, "What do I do with the sick days? I never get sick." And she said, just tell me when you want a day off. We'll give you a day off." And I'm like, "Okay."
Perfect.
All right. So really, I'll have next year. I'll have 2 weeks worth of vacation, and then she usually caps people off like 2 or 3 for the year.
Sorry,
I'm from born and raised in Los Angeles.
I was assuming something close to that in geography. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a Valley Girl accent. It's heavy. I'm from the San Fernando Valley, so the Valley.
I'm just glad it's not fake.
It's not. And you know what? When I left LA and went to Baltimore in grad school at Hopkins, everybody from the Midwest had like a Valley Girl accent, and I couldn't figure it out that it was like this middle class white thing to talk like a Valley Girl.
Oh my God.
It's weird. And I was just
white. It's popular.
It's really weird when you're from Ohio and you're all, "Oh my God." I say, "Oh my God," but I don't say it that drastic, and it's just like have an undertone of Valley Girl,
Right.
But
Yeah.
I heard people from like the Midwest, like with these dramatic Valley Girl accents, it totally just was like gross.
So do you have that lingo where you can like talk about highways that you use to get places? Do you have
the
that
10, the
going on
210, the 605, the 405?
See, that's a genuine right there. Like
I'm going to take the 405 to the 605, and then I'll take the 10 east to the 45 west.
Yeah, see. Only Californians know how to talk that. That's
it's all about
I was in Inglewood on Monday or Sunday and Monday.
Hey, that's where I used to live.
Uh-huh.
I just moved from there.
I'll go back there at some point. We go there a lot.
Oh, I'm nice and fancy in the hills now, so.
Oh,
I see. Yeah. Don't really need a job, but you know.
All right, I'm gonna get rid of some coffee so I can drink more. So I'll just put Dr. Frost in charge.
No, I don't want to be in.
Too late.
I have to feed cats. Yeah, Stax is in charge because I said so.
All right, here's what's gonna fucking happen now.
Oh no!
And then he said nothing.
Nothing's gonna change. We're just gonna keep doing what we were doing already.
It's exactly the same. No changings.
We're gonna keep it out of 5, guys.
Carry on out of 5. Yeah.
What's at a 5 mean?
Just mid-level energy, like
5 out of 10
okay.
right now.
Nice medium,
right, cool.
Extra medium.
Where some of us kind of know what we're talking about.
Marians. What are Marians? Marians?
It's a specialty, Karen.
I think
a Marian is a specialty, Karen.
Ooh, I think that might be
I'm making that up. I don't know.
That might be an autocorrect thing that happened there.
Oh, maybe it was Americans. Yeah. What the hell is wrong with Americans? You know, it's called capitalism. My opinion. Americans.
Nothing's wrong with Americans. We're just people. What do you mean? What's wrong with America?
Where should we start with that?
Well, first of all, it's a very large colony.
we're about 7 hours behind London, and about 30 years. Yeah.
Mitt Romney said that the sanctity of human life is a foundational principle of America.
And it's actually not.
What?
It's really not.
Constitutional scholar about that.
The opposite of that is true.
Right?
Wait. Whenever we go kill someone, we dehumanize them first.
Yeah.
So technically,
we killed so many natives.
Yeah, but they weren't humans when we killed them.
Yeah, same with black people, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
like,
blacks.
Oh yeah, well, of course.
They weren't humans when we enslaved them. Come on.
Exactly.
That would be inhumane.
That's why it's called chattel slavery. I mean, if you look at the language of chattel, it's like cows and livestock.
Chattel, yeah.
And there was a lot of chattel slavery in like Mexico by the Spanish, ironically, to grow hemp for sailcloth. Yeah, fun fact.
For sailcloth?
Yeah, hemp sailcloth is how the Spanish colonized like the world.
Dun, dun,
they had hemp sailcloth, which is tougher than, you know, cotton or linen, or I guess.
Yeah.
So they enslaved the Native American people, right? Native Americans, to grow it, and that was the downfall of, you know, a lot of that stuff.
Whoa! Who was making a joke? What did I miss? A joke about something?
They were saying that as that's what the American position was. Richard wasn't joking about that. You took that
I wasn't making a joke at all.
No, he was saying that was basically the American
seriously
position.
saying that we fucked you guys
over.
That's what he was saying.
The whites in America, when they were killing off the native people, who rightfully, I mean, they were there first. It's their land.
Just chilling too, like hanging out.
They literally didn't think of them as human.
Yeah.
They thought of them as like cavemen or something, like subhuman somehow.
Yeah.
Now I don't personally.
It happened all over the world.
And I don't think it's funny at all. And I love you, Ox. Okay. I want to apologize if it even came across that way. Like seriously, I didn't even mean it as a joke at all.
To be honest, it did give me a little twist when you said it.
Well,
I knew what you meant. Yeah.
He was explaining the perspective position, I thought.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I was just thinking somebody might not.
I mean, I really don't agree with any thought like that. I don't think they're... Okay, let me give you a for instance. I did a little bit of research to make my point. We found more genetic diversity in 30 randomly selected overbred German shepherds than we have in all humans on the face of the earth. That's how close we are in kin.
Yeah,
we're that close.
There's only so many things on this planet that look half alien and half chimpanzee.
Right.
Yeah, us.
We're one of the weirdest animals on the planet.
I know. We have head hair. It's weird.
Yeah. We make stuff out of the stuff.
Yeah.
If we saw
try to
animals
control
out there
things like
that had like smooth skin and patches of hair in weird places, we'd go, "Man, they look weird. What's wrong with them?"
But they're like actually a really pretty monkey.
What a weird maned monkey I am.
Right?
I'm like a bald, like a
bald. That makes
baboon or something.
We look diseased. Yeah.
Look at my weird thin hair. Like, what kind of a mutant has hair?
At least my hair protects from the sun because I actually don't tan underneath of my hair. So it's so curly and dense. So it's doing something. I feel
right.
You know, white folks, they don't even have the insulation properties of like having curly hair.
I know.
For the cold, I'm guessing the Caucasus Mountains were cold.
And every POC has better skin than we do. I'm mad about it.
Oh,
I want
maybe it's melanin.
I know.
That's a melanin.
That's what I'm saying. I want some melanin.
I'll look 40 in 20 years. And I stay in the sun a lot because I'm pale otherwise.
I added Jenny and she booted herself. She must be having listening problems.
She'll be
back.
My mom is like Stag's complexion.
I looked 20 until I was 35 and now I look 50.
You know what the one is about us that really gets me? It's not the baldness. It's not that we like alter things for special purposes. That's not the thing that gets me. What the thing that gets me is I can think about thinking, and I can even think about thinking about thinking. In fact, I can reflect on the fact that I think about thinking about thinking. And that's where does that end exactly?
And are you the thinker or the thinker about the thinker?
I'm the observer, or am I the Yeah, great question. I don't know.
Fuck if I know. Hi, Jenny.
Hello, Jenny.
Richard's here, huh?
Yeah, and we were not discussing religion. We were actually discussing history and how fucked up Americans are, and the horrible shit we've done to each other, and we were just talking about general stuff.
I'm just teasing. Hi, Richard. Been a long time. How you doing?
Hello, Jenny. What am I doing?
No, how are you
talking on Beck's show? Oh, how am I doing? Tired. I'm tired, but I'm in a good mood. But I'm tired.
Sorry, I'm late. I got involved with All Creatures Great and Small.
Sandy said hi.
Hi, Sandy.
Alex said they used genocide in the name of God to make room for the slaves they forced here.
True story.
There you go.
And I don't want to get too like on a soapbox or anything, but Ox, I am an ally. I don't want to speak for Richard. I believe he is too. This shit makes my blood boil, dude. This shit makes my blood boil.
Every day.
The natives, the African Americans, all of it. Poor people, everything. I hate it. I hate it all. I hate the bigotry, the everything that we did to all the minorities that we came across, or the minorities that we created. You know what I mean? We made them minorities, and then
there you go.
I'm trying to be careful with my language and not use words like them and they and stuff. But
no, you're right. You're right.
unless Dr. Cross comes on camera and starts chewing you out, you're doing fine, Stags. Keep going.
Yeah.
I mean,
the best thing
was a minority until like colonialism, right?
Right.
We were just like evenly distributed. Everyone's chilling.
Like the bottom line is all these people that came over here so they could practice their religion free and everything, blah, 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 did a bunch of fucked up shit and fucked up all kinds of stuff and peoples and civilizations and
ironically so, right? Because they wanted to practice their religion.
Thank you. I was going there.
It almost makes you wonder if that's why they left, so that they could do that.
I want to spread the guilt. They did not leave on a voluntary basis. They were told to get the fuck out of here.
I want to spread the guilt everywhere.
They were not liked by the general population.
Right.
I want to spread the guilt everywhere it belongs. How do you buy muskets when you don't have a recognized means of trade, i.e. money? When you don't have recognized money, how do you buy something?
You trade goods.
You barter.
Nope. Nope, that's not what they did.
You steal.
No. We got weapons from England and from France. How? We got a loan and used their money.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
We got a loan from the Bank of London and used that money to purchase our, I don't know, call it what you want. So I'd like the equal guilt to go to the bank that we borrowed this money from, that we used to kill people rightfully on this land.
I mean, that's why I always talk about capitalism, because I'm like, basically capitalism is why colonialism, which is why capitalism kind of seems to feed on each other like a snake.
Indeed.
I believe even the final draft of the Declaration of Independence still mentioned the, quote, savages. Sorry to use that word, but sure. I believe it's in there. Like, they really, like, one of the reasons we rebelled from England is so that we could keep doing horrible things to the people here.
Santa Fe, New Mexico, in the middle of the plaza in the downtown historic district, stands a statue, an obelisk, which is missing its Liskey part, but it still has the foundation because some people took it down. And when I say people, I mean people in the classical sense. People. The people took it down.
Mm-hmm.
And on it, on one side, is indeed, carved in 1960s. They used the word savage to describe Native Americans.
It's insane.
So that recently.
Horrifying.
And now
what's funny about it,
the top of it is gone and the rest of it is covered in plywood and painted and decorated and blah, 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 because they couldn't find any crane company that would come and move the damn thing because they didn't want to get politically involved in it.
That's also true.
So it's still sitting there, but it's covered.
And I hate when people are like, times were different then. It was different. People had different opinions. Really? Yeah. Because I know about a guy named John Brown. And I think that he had a little bit of the same opinion as I do.
Oh, shit.
How come I didn't learn about John Brown in school at all?
Because he was armed.
You want to guess why?
Because he was a good guy?
Right. That's it.
Absolute hero.
Right,
we learned about John Brown. And the teacher I had at the time did frame him as a good guy.
And Harriet Tubman, we learned that she did the Underground Railroad thing, but we didn't learn that she actually, like, I mean, I'll use the language a little bit. She fought in the Civil War, kind of? Like, she led a scout troop or something, right? Is that something along those lines? Like, she had some non-official role where she, like, led people in war. I don't know if she ever engaged in battle or anything like that. I might not have that quite right, but there was
Richard, I thought I heard that she had some kind of role as a spy.
That may be it. That may be it.
I thought it was a spy role. I'm looking right now.
Stags, is your first name Richard as well?
No, she's always addresses the wrong person. It's a habit that she has.
Forgive me. I did not actually mean to point it out.
Let's see. She escaped from slavery. She founded the Underground Railroad. Civil War service. Here he goes. Hold on. I got you. I just have to find it, right?
She like went on raids and stuff, like of plantations. Chop somebody in the back of the head with an axe in Minecraft.
Sorry, it's a lot to look through to find it. Hold on. Here you go. She was recruited to assist fugitive enslaved people at Fort Monroe, worked as a nurse, cook, and laundress. Harriet used her knowledge of herbal medicines to help treat sick soldiers and fugitive enslaved people, became head of an espionage and scout network in 1863 for the Union Army. She provided crucial intelligence to Union commanders about Confederate Army supply routes and troops, and helped liberate enslaved people to form black Union regiments. Though just over 5 feet tall, she was a force to be reckoned with, although it took over 3 decades for the government to recognize her military contributions and award her financially.
When they say helped liberate enslaved people, that means sailed down the river at night, raiding plantations.
You go, Harriet.
Yeah. Yes. Absolutely.
5 foot tall.
Yes.
Yep. 5 foot tall. You got to watch those short ones.
That sure explains why Trump didn't want her on the $20 bill. She was a good guy.
She and during all of this, she had a head injury. Check this out. It says Harriet purchased land adjacent to her home and opened the Harriet Tubman Home for Aged and Indigent colored people. Whew, that's a lot of words. The head injury she suffered in her youth continued to plague her, and she endured brain surgery to help relieve her symptoms, but her health continued to deteriorate and eventually forced her to move into her namesake rest home in 1911. She died from pneumonia March 10th, 1913, but her legacy lives on. Schools and museums bear her name, and her story has been revisited in books, movies, and documentaries.
Well, she didn't make a very good old folks home if she died of pneumonia there. Okay, it was a bad joke.
Oh, talk about 1863, man. When he said brain surgery, I was like, oh.
1913, everybody was dying of pneumonia. They didn't know how to fucking save old people back then.
I know. Oh.
But no, that's one hell of a shoo.
If anybody wants to know how to be sorry, go ahead.
She's got a ship named after her. And they said that her image will replace Andrew Jackson, who was a slave owner on the $20 bill.
When?
That's what it says here.
They're in process. They're supposedly doing the engraving now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because they came out with this in 2016. They made that change, and they've been working on it since.
Yeah. How are they going to take it back so they don't have to do that?
I'll figure out a way.
It was one of the final things that Barack Obama did, and one of the first things that Trump did was undo that.
Yeah, he said. It says here. Okay, here is what it says. Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin later announced the new bill would be delayed until at least 2026. In January 2021, President Biden's administration announced it would speed up the design process to mint the bills honoring Tubman's legacy. So it'll probably happen pretty soon because that was just canceled again. No, I bet you Biden gets it done before he leaves office. He has to, man.
I got no faith in any of them. You know, they all look like game show hosts to me.
I also have no faith in any of them.
He doesn't.
From that base standpoint, I'm highly impressed with Joe Biden. From my zero expectations, he's actually done some things that I thought were way beyond what I expected, and just the way he talks and stuff, if nothing else, you know what I mean? I know that's not a lot. Anybody can stand up there and talk, but that's a big part of the president's job. And I don't know, he did some things in the past that are pretty garbage, but what I want to say a minute ago is if anybody wonders how to be a good ally, the best thing you can do is just listen and like learn about history. Learn about the history and listen to minorities, listen to Black people, listen to Indigenous people, listen to trans people, listen to LGBTQ people. Just listen and be there and know when it's time to speak up. And that's usually to other white people. Most of the time that's when it's time to speak up, is when you're in your own group of people and that. But when you're with the other people, you should listen a lot. And I know I'm talking a lot right now, but
you're not listening.
Yeah, Jesus. Couldn't get you to shut up there for a minute. No, I'm kidding.
I think I do listen a lot, and I try not to talk over you too much.
Nah, you're pretty good about it, actually. I do have some. I've had problem children in my past, but they usually don't come around very much anymore because I told them to quit fucking doing it, and they don't like it. Mage Gray said 57 minutes in. I guess that means I missed the Roe v. Wade conversation. No, we have not discussed it. I have not brought it up because everybody else is talking about it. And if you guys want to talk about it, have at it. That's fine with me.
If you guys think that this is bad,
Just wait.
Wait and see what they do. This is just opening the door. Wait till you see what comes
slippery
out.
slope to fascism.
Yeah, this is going to be horrifying.
The tip of the proverbial iceberg. Yeah. And it's a slippery slope, my friends.
With what they've done so far, and if they continue on this path, they will create the Handmaid's Tale in real life.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys ever seen an insult comedian?
And all the women will be marching around as slaves to the cishet white men.
Because it affects Black female-bodied people. So Black trans men and Black cis women obviously are going to be the most affected. Anyone with the uterus remaining. So it's also a one of those things from what we were talking about earlier from history. Controlling certain populations, bodies, rights, and
keeping the poor.
And it trickles up. Believe me, it trickles up.
This keeps
I'm actually writing a manual for faculty to mentor minority, I guess, not minority students, to be diverse populations like LGBTQ, students from low socioeconomic class. And it's funny because the first thing is be kind. Second thing is listen with more than your ears. And everything Stags was hitting on.
This whole thing reminds me of an insult comedian. Now, you might not like an insult comedian, and especially if they're concentrating on you and they're insulting you personally, and it's offensive. But there's one thing for sure, they've got your attention. I really literally can't believe this stuff is going on. I'm not in mental denial of it, but I mean expressively, I can't believe it. This looks like insanity.
It's hard.
It looks too much like insanity, though.
Yeah. It's almost like our natural skepticism kicks in when something like this goes on. Come on, they're not going to do that. Come on.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, I literally can't believe.
I know
that they're reversing Roe v. Wade. I mean, really?
Yeah. Medical privacy is what Roe v. Wade is about. Medical privacy.
Well, no, it's about individual personal privacy.
Medical is power, control of your own body. Period.
Right. It's like the same with drugs. You should be able to say what drugs or people are in your body at any given time, right? So it is a personal liberties attack, and it's funny to see people who claim liberty and freedom at the helm of always attacking people's personal rights and freedoms. It's very interesting.
The hook that puts everything on the table and makes everything vulnerable is that's part of the rationalization that Alito wrote I don't have an exact quote. My brain just hasn't locked it in yet. But it had to do with the Roe versus Wade is bad decision because abortion, this as an issue, Roe Wade versus as a case, does not have a long and deep history in the United States. Well, when you take that clause that because what happens in the courts is not based on just what the decision was in a given case. It's the opinions that go along with it as well. And so as long as that opinion is out there, everything else that has a long and deep history in the United States is open for discussion now. And that's where you get the trouble with gay marriage, with slavery, with birth control, with cohabitation, with interracial marriage, with gay marriage, with just the very existence of trans people.
It doesn't even make sense that this is happening.
Yeah, and I'm just scratching the surface. This is horrible.
I mean, what's next? What are they going to do to shock us and make us disappointed in them now? Like, how can it get worse? Because I mean, I think it's going to get worse. I think there's going to be another thing.
Yep, it's going to get orders of magnitude worse. This is just the beginning. This is just the signal flare.
Take away women's suffrage. Is that next? That would make just as much sense.
Well, that will be tougher because that is a constitutional thing.
Yeah.
No, that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's in the Constitution.
Yeah, well, if they're going to follow the Constitution at all, it does. But if they don't, no, then it doesn't.
No,
matter.
there's amendments. They can fix that. Don't worry about it.
But that does go to the people, and you're not going to see the people. But that happens.
See the people what?
The people, I do not ever believe would vote in a constitutional amendment to end women's suffrage.
Oh yeah, well that won't matter either. They can get around anything they want, I think.
Plus, the Supreme Court has to uphold the Constitution, so it's a little harder. But I think
disbandment of the Supreme Court. That's the next step, then, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't ask how it can get worse. They'll give you an example.
Yeah.
Well, if the right judges would just like get COVID. Oh God.
And I love the whole blame game that's going on right now. Let's blame everybody. Let's blame voters. Let's blame non-voters. Let's blame Hillary Clinton and Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Let's blame Donald Trump. Let's blame, and all of this works together to create the situation. You know what I mean? Nobody's probably free of blame as far as all that goes, but it's silly not to blame the people that are actually doing the thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Word.
So often in conversations, I object to very, very bad logic. And people think when I'm objecting to bad logic, I'm objecting to their position. And that's a mistake.
Right. Something you got to be careful of, though.
This whole thing is so illogical, which is not my support of an opposing position either. What is it I need to be careful of, though?
Mage, they know that. They're doing it anyways because as long as there is the weapon of pregnancy that can't be gotten rid of, there's going to be a whole class of people who are held down.
Mm-hmm. And it creates
and these are the people who will do anything for money, for employment, and that makes the capitalist happy.
And then creates new crimes so we can have new prisoners,
new slaves.
Yep.
And don't forget, I was about to say, this is a poor person's bill. All of this is to keep poor people where they are, because the bottom line is rich people, if they want a fucking goddamn, I don't know, a goat horn put in the middle of their asshole, someone will do it because they have enough money. If they want abortion, they're going to get one done, whether it's illegal or not, because they have the resources to have it done.
And this was part of the argument
over the poor and little guy. That's all they're doing over and over.
This was part of the argument back in 71, 72, 73. I clearly remember it. I was there, and everybody was saying, look at these states over here. You can have an abortion, and if you're rich enough, you can fly there and get an abortion. Come on home. The only people that are hurting are the people who can't afford, who are locked in, and have no opportunity for joy. So it's no different. It's just no fucking different. They're
really good point.
And people get abortions. People get abortions at around college age. So think of how many people are going to drop out of school because they are pregnant, because that's not easy. As someone
now they gotta
who didn't,
go somewhere
I had to
else.
raise my sister's kids in college. That ain't easy. And if my mom wasn't helping me,
there is there is an action going on that nobody thinks is going to change anybody's mind, but is going to be a stick up their ass. Is people are getting online and ordering, a 10-pack or a 20-pack or a 100-pack of hangers and shipping them to the various appropriate justices.
That's funny.
Oh,
sort of.
Yeah, there's also like chemical methods that are probably safer.
You can get them over the counter in California. Order in bulk.
Yep.
What are you 486?
That's the morning after pill is what you're talking about.
Oh, well.
Well, there are other ways.
I hate it when they call RU 486. I hate it when they call RU 486 an abortion pill. It prevents fertilization. Nothing occurs to abort. because of RU 486.
Yeah.
You got to be talking about some Christian somewhere making that claim. Hey, everybody, peace and respect. I love you all, and have a great night, Beck. My brain's gone, and
yeah, brother, get some rest. I love you.
Peace. Love you too.
Peace.
Bye.
Bye, buddy.
Bye, Richard.
And if the fine, hypothetically, if the fine for getting an abortion is $30,000, that means it costs a rich person $30,000 to get an abortion.
Right. Maybe 31.
Hey,
yeah, because you got to pay for the
Stags. Behind you, there's that globe, and we're looking at Africa. I got a question. Why do you hate America so much, huh?
Oh, let me count the ways. Would you like me to start at the top of the list or the bottom? How much time?
Well, we could just wait a minute.
I thought we've been on this for a minute already.
Stags, we've been on that subject for like an hour. Just keep rolling with where you were, bro. We were already talking about how shitty this place is.
Look how big Africa is, by the way, everybody. I just want to like remind everybody how large of a continent Africa is. So when you hear somebody say something like "go back to Africa,"
yeah,
from this tiny place. Now, I mean, this isn't a tiny place. This is a pretty big place too. But goodness, this is a whole big spot. But do you know how many countries are in Africa? I don't. Like 30.
Remember, we're dealing with people who don't even understand that Africa is a continent.
The American continent is pretty big as well if you look at it.
Yeah,
it's pretty decent size, but
North
it's still
America,
that's not all
America.
that we don't own that shit. That's the continent, not the country. So
yeah, I
mean, yes, we have a large country. Yes, we do compared to most countries. It's true. They had to do that, you know. Goes right back to the dick size and the oversized tires on the jacked up Ford pickup truck.
With the 4-inch pipe that smokes.
Oh, God. Don't get me started on that stupid shit. I yell at them when they're going down the road doing that. I yell at them, polluter, because I don't know what else to yell fast enough. There's only one word that says it all while they're driving by fast.
I wish somebody would legislate that to be against the law and give some major fucking tickets. It's a crime really against the planet.
It literally is. It's horrible. It's horrible. In a matter of a couple minutes, they'll put out enough smoke for like 20 vehicles. Like it literally should be illegal.
Oh, people like burn their diesel and make all that
I
black
had
smoke come
friends
out.
that used to do that. Yeah, they take the blah, blah, blah,
they made that illegal in California. You get a big ass ticket for it.
Yeah, well,
Rolling
it's
coal?
pretty much only in California though. Everywhere else they don't say anything. So anyways, I had friends that did that shit, and then they started talking about marriage being between a man and a woman, and I told them to fuck off, and I have not spoke to them in years. I told them to fuck off 10 years ago. So anyways. Yep, they think that rolling coal. That's right, Dave.
Rolling coal.
Hi, Dave. Hi, Maynard. Glad you guys could stop by. Hope everybody's doing well. Titan said, I'm with Cirrus. In an ideal world, the word abortion wouldn't even exist. This is not an ideal world. Being for a woman's bodily autonomy does not mean you're for abortion. Exactly. And no, I don't think that, you know, like they always say, well, the prostitutes are just going to use it for like, you know, for like birth control. And yeah, okay, I'm sure that happens. I'm pretty sure that's not the majority though.
Because
come on,
it makes
now.
so much more sense to instead of taking a pill once a day to get pregnant, go in and have a surgical procedure done and have to recover for a day or two and spend all that money. And
nobody ever thinks maybe they got raped just because they're sex workers or something. And I think that's weird.
No, rape never happens. That's why there's a almost 31-year-old man running around the United States with my fucking genetics, because rape never happens. So, yeah. Yep. Done with that part. Anyways. Sure, I asked for it while I was blind ass drunk because he got me blind ass drunk on purpose. I was 19. Yep. Great guy. 26 years old. Anywho, moving on. Yeah, exactly, Sandy. Yeah, incest and rape never ever happen. It's true. Titan said if we destigmatized sex work and had decent health care, ... Right?
I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying.
You can sing nice,
Ox said, sorry, but it's not my business if Mary goes for an abortion as long as Mary knows what she's doing and is safe. Thank you, Ox. It's exactly the point. The point is that if you take away and say, oh, no more abortions are all illegal, you have two kinds of women. You have women that have to go out and spend a lot of money to get a fucking backdoor late at night when the office is closed abortion from some doctor, or you get the ones that try to do it homemade and they end up either killing themselves or possibly killing themselves. Anyways, point is, that's the problem. You're taking away that safety, that healthcare safety that they have. And it's not okay. Because if women need to have an abortion, they're going to do it in any way, shape, or form that they can.
And like Jenny was saying, is nobody's like jumping up and down to go get an abortion either.
No.
It's not like it's fun, horrible. You guys.
No, it's a horrible fucking experience. I had one done. And it's fucking horrible. And you have to walk out those doors and you're loopy from having it done. You feel like shit. Morally, ethically, mentally, physically, you just feel like crap, and you walk outside and people are yelling at you and telling you you're a piece of shit and you're a baby killer. And then for me, I had to walk all the way across the parking lot in the middle of Orlando, Florida, in the middle of fucking summer, dying of heat. I couldn't even fucking barely stand up straight. And he watched me walk across the parking lot where he was sitting in this shade in his nice, cool pickup truck. So yeah, no, it's fun. Like I think all women are chomping at the bit to go through that experience. You got to wake up. We need this bed for somebody else. We have to do another one. You have to wake up.
And I don't think people realize like how many female doctors, lawyers, and a lot of female-bodied people have gotten abortions. It's not rare.
You know how many professional women out there are like, hell no. And because they're so young, because they're underneath 40-ish, they can't get a hysterectomy. They don't have a baby. They make them wait because, again, we're trying to fucking write down on a law over women's body parts. It's none of our fucking business. So they end up having abortions because, yes, there are accidents. By God, they should be allowed to have fucking sex and have a goddamn career. Like, fuck off.
And we should find it no great wonder that the party that consists of many people who can't really tell the difference between a teenager and an adult can't tell the difference between a fetus and a baby. Yeah. You know what I mean? They seem to have problems with those age-based classifications. You know what I mean?
Hey, did you guys, speaking of Republican lack of discretion, did you hear that Madison Cawthorn has yet another video that came out in the last 24 hours? That shows him doing questionable things.
Yeah, it's getting a little weird.
I swear, this is all engineered by the Republican Party. They want him out ever since he blew the cover on their orgies and cocaine parties.
Yeah, I'm not gonna feed into that whole thing a whole lot. It makes me uncomfortable. That's gone too far. I don't need to know that much about Madison Cawthorn's personal life, regardless of what he does in public.
Well, you know, it is like nobody is saying, you know, if you want to be gay, fine, be gay. Nobody cares. Don't be a hypocrite and come after LGBT people on the other side of your face. Then,
true.
And that's what's the irritant.
What if he flips and becomes like a super badass progressive just because of all this? Isn't he like super young?
Yeah, he's like 26 or something like that.
I mean, he could still change. When I was 26, I was pretty stupid.
I think it's really funny. He's standing up there defending himself and saying, "Oh, well, that was something from a long time ago." You know, dude, you're 26.
Yeah, bringing up stuff from my early 20s, like yeah, stuff from 5 years ago.
Oh God, 26 babies.
5 years.
Right. I started my PhD program when I was 26.
Yeah.
I thought you were only 26 now.
26.
I'm actually 76. I'm just, it's all the melanin, you know?
Oh, you look so good.
What the fuck ever. Dr. Cross is like my age minus 2 or 3 years, I think.
I got Jimmy Jack. I have little melanin spots all over.
Oh no, that's
me.
right.
Oh, I have those too. Because my mom is like freckled.
Yeah. Luckily, you can't really notice them. They're very unnoticeable on my skin.
Oh, I have big spots on my face. You guys have seen them.
My white grandmother used to, I guess she told my mother when she was a kid, my mom's best friend was black. And she was like, "Mom, why am I freckled? And, you know, my friend is black. Why am I not black like her?" And she was like, "Well, y'all are standing next to each other when God painted her and it splashed on you." And I always thought that was like a really cute explanation of why my mom had freckles and like blonde hair and her friend was black. It's cute. I mean, this is old. I mean, my grandmother would be like 150 years, like 120 years old now. So this is like an old white Southern woman handling race.
I moved to Atlanta when I was like 6 years old. Spent the first grade in Atlanta. Moved there from Port Angeles, Washington. I'm not sure if I had ever seen a black person before I went to Atlanta. Wow. And I remember like wondering so many things. It was so strange to me as a child. And I wonder, like, I just remember, like, I definitely noticed how much different everybody looked there than me. I was like, there were like 2 white kids in my class and I was one of them. And it was very, I don't know. I didn't really know what to think about it as a kid at that age. I wasn't like scared or hateful or anything like that. But I did have the strong sensation that they weren't like me. You know what I mean? Which is not good, obviously. But that was just and I've always been sort of shy, and like the friends I made in school got me. They picked me out. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't very outgoing, and it made me feel like an outsider. Kind of like I was different than everybody else around me.
Right.
And that might be a healthy experience for a lot of white people to go through once in a while. Maybe just to get the experience of that so you can see it. But
well, I think I've had I don't think I could ever get to the point of understanding POCs as minorities and what they go through, just like someone who is cishet and is a minority would never be able to understand what it's like for a trans person to go through what I've got. You know what I mean? So there's always that limit there. But I've really been, I mean, I've been fired from jobs for being gay, and they've made up other excuses. And like I've been around the block. I was at a gas station with my ex-girlfriend, and some guy and with a rebel flag on the back of his truck, and his buddy in his truck drove around the pumps at the gas stations yelling slurs at us.
See, I haven't been around the block yet. I keep getting beat up and delayed.
Yeah, before you can get all the way around it, right? Like my point is I know a lot about what it's like to have people prejudice. I've been in relationships where there was money and we were good and we could go show off shit. And I've lived in my car and slept on a pool hall floor before. Like I've been on both ends.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know how I could become more compassionate than where I mean, I literally don't know how. I'm so fucking empathetic towards others. I'm not going to say I don't have my little prejudices here and there when I see like homeless people that are definitely on drugs. And I'm like, dude, I'm not giving you money to go buy more drugs. Like, okay, I'm an asshole when it comes to stuff like that. But you can tell a guy on drugs and someone who's not, you know, and somebody who just needs help. Like if you pay attention, you'll know.
The guy on drugs doesn't need help?
No, the guy on drugs doesn't need money. He needs help. If you give the guy on drugs money, he's just going to go buy more drugs, man. He's going to go kill himself.
So
you're just enabling him. So I'll give him food. I'll give him cigarettes.
I'll give him drugs.
I'll give him drugs too.
I'd give him weed, but
I mean, I don't have, you know.
Have you ever been homeless?
I'm talking about. There's a lot of meth heads around here.
Have you ever been unhoused? Have you ever been unhoused, Beck?
Huh?
Have you ever been unhoused?
That's what I just said, man.
I'm asking if you have. Oh,
I've slept in my car and I've slept on a pool hall floor.
Well, meth
did you
helps.
have like a beer?
I'm just saying, meth would help.
did your day ever get made livable by one beer when you were unhoused?
Actually, that's how I got the place to sleep out of my car that had no gas. Was because somebody brought me into the bar to have beer, and I said, I don't need money. He said, I got you, and he took me in the bar. And we were talking. He was like, so what's going on, man? Tell me what's going on. I was like, nah, man, I'm good. And he's like, no, tell me. And so I started crying because I was frustrated. You know, I lost everything. Like these people stole a bunch of money from me. They stole the stuff out of my apartment. And they left me a broke down fucking car on E with no money and no place to live. Like, and they skipped town while I was away with the army. And I came back to nothing. So, yeah, so the bartender said, I need somebody to work here. You can sleep on the floor here. And I said, fucking sold, man. Sold. So, I slept on the floor for about a month and a half till I had enough money to get some place for me to lay my head down.
When I give an unhoused person a bottle of beer, I'm not trying to save their life. I'm trying to save their day.
Right.
Oh, I don't care about that. I'm saying I don't give them money because they go buy heroin and meth with it. Like the ones that I know are drug addicts. I mean, I just don't like to give them money at all. I'll give them food. I'll give them cigarettes. You know, I've given out like gift cards to restaurants before, you know, $5 here or there for like Burger King or whatever. But here where I live, they don't starve. There's food all over the place for the homeless people here.
I guess I just look at it differently. My question to the unhoused person is, what can I do for you to make your day better right now in this moment? I'm not trying to get them a job. I'm not trying to get them a life. I just want to get them a beer so they have a better day.
When I was unhoused, that's what it was for me. I wanted a fucking job, and I was in the middle of a bad crime-ridden area outside on the suburbs of Orlando, Florida, part of Orlando, Florida. And there was just it was just a bunch of houses and a couple bars and gas stations.
But not
and I was fucking filthy
experience.
And I had no way to like clean myself. I didn't have any clothes. They stole all my clothes. I had old raggedy paint covered clothes that like, I just had nothing, man. So like if someone would have came up to me and said, I will help you, you know, I don't know, I'll get you out of come stay at my house for 2 days so you can find a job. Oh my God, that would have been like amazing, man. Just that's all I would need, just 2 days to clean myself up and look for a fucking job and, you know, wash all my stuff and blah, blah, blah. And then I would have been gone. I would have been good.
Some people are way past that point or nowhere near where they can get themselves cleaned up to go get a job. Some people really just need a beer.
That's where I was. I just didn't give a fuck.
I don't know.
I'm not saying it's bad to give somebody a beer. And we were out driving on the road and this guy stopped my co-driver outside the truck stop, and he said, hey man, he said, you know, can I just get a couple bucks? And my co-driver goes, let me guess, you're broke down on the highway and your kids and your babies are out there. And he goes, no man, I'm having a shitty life because I'm homeless and I just want to get drunk. And my buddy pulled $20 out of his wallet and said, here man, go get smashed, bro. That is the most honest shit I have ever heard. And so when the guy got back to the truck, I gave him 10. I was like, here, I'm going to throw in 10. So I gave him 10. I was like, that's totally, absolutely, man. I love the honesty.
We need to maintain the same compassion for drug addicts that we have for other people.
Oh, it's not that I don't have compassion for them, but I'm not going to enable them to get more drugs. It's the only thing I don't want to do. If it was weed, you know, if there's some guy and he's strung out and he wants weed, yeah, weed will just chill you out. I'll give him some fucking weed. I don't give a fuck.
The hardest thing I ever did was work on Skid Row, getting people not to smoke spice and take free weed from us.
Oh,
it was absolute. I taught biochemistry on Skid Row.
Dr. Cross, I smoked that shit one time. I never, ever touched it again.
Please don't. It will permanently damage your brain on a molecular basis.
It was the worst. Oh my God. Like 2 minutes of my life.
Dr. Cross,
basically
would you speak to me for a little bit about the pharmacology of that stuff?
Well, basically what cannabinoids that are in cannabis that get you high, what that does is it binds to receptors in your brain and body, and then it bounces off. We say it binds, but it actually bounces off after a while. And that makes the receptor happy because it can stay there on the membranes of cells, right? But the synthetic stuffs like spice, it sticks to those receptors and cannot come off. So your cells get really unhappy. They have to basically eat up that receptor and recycle it and start all over. And if you don't have cannabinoid receptors because they're all gone because they're stuck to the synthetic, then you're in big trouble and you're probably going to pass out or die, because actually cannabinoids play a huge role in a lot of our bodily functions. Apparently.
Well, don't we produce our own cannabinoids, don't we?
Right. And they bounce on and off our receptors. And some people have low amounts and they have epilepsy, or autistic people, or they have mutations in the receptors that cause the binding to be really loose. But most things like drugs don't bind to a receptor permanently like that. It's just really dangerous and toxic. It leads to toxicity. So when we design drugs, we design them to kind of bind to the receptor and bounce off to mitigate, how effective it is.
Huh.
So yeah, spice sucks. It basically just drowns your cells in these chemicals that can't come off the receptor, and now your cells are all in your brain are oh my God, we have to recycle all these receptors, and it just gets overloaded, and you can it causes epilepsy. Obviously, you start short circuiting your brain. Because cannabinoids, like the ones we make in our bodies and even the ones from plants, they're binding on and off. It just modulates your nervous system. It doesn't, turn things on or off.
Right.
And from the user's
Thank
perspective,
you. I understood every word.
Oh.
From the user's perspective, now you guys know that I was a hard drug user for a lot of years, right? And I've been clean for 7 years. I would see people stay up for 2 or 3 days on meth and then smoke some weed, and it would kind of make them go a little bit psycho.
Oh yeah, the hallucinations probably because they have no dopamine in their system
and
at that point. No serotonin.
The sleep deprivation, and then combined with the weed, you'll start hearing voices and stuff, seeing things.
Or loud sounds. I've experienced that. I've done a lot of different drugs or tried them. I'm not really into things like meth or cocaine, but when I tried meth, I remember trying to fall asleep. I stayed up for 3 days. First of all, it was really uncomfortable for someone with ADHD, and I remember smoking weed and hearing a loud bang every time I tried to fall asleep. It was weird.
And that can actually be a precursor to sleep paralysis.
Exactly. Yes.
What?
Yeah. But when people would be up for 2 or 3 days on meth and then smoke K12, they'd pass out, literally just fall over.
That makes sense though.
Yeah.
Because they've maxed out their the adrenaline and dopamine in their brains, and now they're crashing their cannabinoid receptors. So things are just shutting down. At some point, the brain's fuck this.
It's crazy. And that made me realize this is not like weed. And I know it's not like weed anyway, because if you just wake up in the morning and smoke some weed, that's going to affect you for the rest of your day. You're going to be affected for the rest of your day until you go to sleep that night. You're going to be tired and sluggish and all that. But if you smoke the spice, it would wear off. If you're just a casual user, it would the effects seem to wear off a lot faster. And then you can I could go about the rest of my day just fine. But if I tried to do anything during that hour when I was
Because it's a synthetic, your body recognizes it as something different and clears it out faster too. Whereas natural cannabinoids from like weed are like the stuff that's already in our body. So they stay in the synapse, they hang around the body, they get stored in your fat. That's why we test so long for it, because your body doesn't really recognize it as something different. Otherwise, you kick it out.
Interesting.
So would cocaine be considered a synthetic drug?
Cocaine is a natural drug. Crack,
just extracted and purified.
Yeah, it's like opium and heroin. It's like how strong did you make it?
So what about crack?
But I've had coca leaves, and that's not the same effect. When I went to Machu Picchu,
or morning glories.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've heard of morning glories. I haven't experienced them.
Oh yes, the seeds and stuff of morning glories have
LSD,
an LSD like substance in them. It is actually one of the lysergic acids.
Yes.
I don't remember which. It's not Delta 9 or not Delta 9. It's not tartrate. It's not LSD 25. It's something 20. I just don't remember the numbers anymore. But anyways, it's very, very similar to LSD, and you can trip your little brains out on morning glories. It's not recommended.
No, because the effects have this weird burning body effect too. I've heard of.
Yeah.
And anybody who's never tried salvia, I recommend just avoid it. Steer clear of that horrible shit.
I had a naked man on my porch on salvia in grad school in the fucking snow, y'all. Don't smoke that shit.
No.
Unless you go to like a shaman or somewhere that it's like they know how to do it.
Set and setting.
Yeah. Also stop going to these like weird middle, like white kids that go to the South America and come back as quote unquote shamans. Stop going to their ayahuasca rituals. Like people are dying.
Yohimbi bark.
I did salvia at a Halloween party that was full of people.
How scary.
Yeah, it wasn't the best thing in the world. And when it came out of it, like it changed me permanently. I used to be a party monster. I would love to go to parties. I think that was the last party I ever wanted to go to. After that, I never wanted to go to another party again. I came out of that and looked at everyone and I was like, what are we doing? What is this? We're all in costumes and drunk and I was disgusted with everything. Like, it was weird. It wasn't a pleasant experience.
What were you on?
Salvia divinorum.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's a very, very powerful hallucinogen.
Yeah, I'm familiar.
Yeah. I never tried it after I had, I saw someone naked on my porch screaming that their house was eating them or some shit. I was like, well, maybe not.
That's weird. They must have been doing a lot because it usually
Oh, I'm sorry. This is med school. So this was someone who was about to be a physician. Because our little neighborhood was all like grad students and med students.
Normally, by the time you can stand up, the effects have wore off.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe he was bullshitting. He's kind of a stalker, so.
Or it might have just been using so much. I don't know if it has a
that
more
would be
permanent
possible.
effect.
Yeah. Yes, med school people are pretty hardcore. So, yeah, that was weird though.
Back in the very early days of hippiedom, I had a friend who was a physician, and he would acquire things for us and let us try them under a safe situation. He would be there, and he would have other nurses and stuff that he knew and stuff, and so it was a safe situation to be doing stuff, and nobody would ever get more than one dose out of him, because it's just for to experience that and understand what it's about, and it was for some pretty neat shit there and there.
I like Bill Hicks' take on acid, where he's like talking about, today a young man on acid jumped out a 10-story window and died. He thought he could fly. What a tragedy. And Bill Hicks is like, what an asshole. If you thought you could fly, why didn't you try taking off from the ground first? Quit ruining it for the rest of us.
Well, that was from a CIA experiment, wasn't that story?
I
There's a CIA agent that somebody slipped him acid
during
that whole
stereotypic story about LSD came from a real life story. Some of you may remember the name or the person, Art Linkletter. he had a daughter who did LSD and jumped out a window.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's
I thought it was from the experiment. What is it called? MK Ultra experiments, where there was a CIA agent that jumped out a window, and I always thought it was from that.
I met
I
a guy.
It was a Linkletter, whatever his name is. That guy, I remember him from back in the day.
And before we think that all these stories are completely made up and imaginary, I met a guy at a party who had, again, been up for 7 days on meth. This is important because the hallucinations are so much more powerful. And then he took acid, and he took a broken beer bottle because God told him that he needed to pull his heart out. So he showed me the scars. He stabbed into his chest with a beer bottle and said that he reached in there with his fingers and felt his own heart beating.
How did he survive with all those scars?
I don't know. The meth, probably.
Oh.
You can't die if you're on meth, I think.
Yeah.
Well, you don't know you died.
It'll keep kickstarting your heart over and over again.
Yeah. I knew a guy who got in the wreck, and the police and paramedics told him, like, you might have only survived because of how fucking spun you were.
When we were young,
but if they weren't on it, the wreck wouldn't have happened, though. That's what they keep forgetting.
Yeah, it's like alcohol relaxes your body, and you don't get injuries during a car wreck.
Yeah.
Why did you wreck? Because I was drunk.
back in the old days when we were doing acid, we knew that many of the stories about acid were absolutely true. People would unmask and become quite psychotic. People would do ridiculous things like jump out of a window or walk onto the middle of the street thinking that the car is not real. And so we always had people, at least two people. If you had a party of like four to six people, you'd have two people there who were trip sitters, who were straight, who were not doing anything, who everybody knew, so there was friendship or relationships, and they would talk you down or get, say, no, the God does not want you to cut out your heart. That's the drug.
Yeah.
Right.
Talking
like
to you.
Trip sitters are so important.
Oh yeah,
as
absolutely.
Someone who's done it and been trip sat.
They're currently doing experimentation with psilocybin as treatment for major depression. And suicidal ideology. And they're finding it to be very effective, but it's not something you just take it. It's something that you take, and then you're taken on a very guided tour of your brain, basically, with a therapist or two at the same time.
So I had the pleasure of actually being around those experiments when I was in grad school, because Roland Griffiths was one of my co-mentors, like a career mentor, because since I was interested in going into cannabis. And that was really interesting because he started with terminally ill cancer patients and their major depression. Obviously, they knew they were going to die. And he they gave him guided trips for them to come to terms with their own death. And they had like an 81% turnaround rate or something.
And a lot of the allure of doing those, creating those kinds of experiment stuff came out of the 70s death and dying exploration with like Elizabeth Kubler-Ross and other folks. And it was just a whole new thing that we never knew about before then, to learn about stages of death and how people can just learn about themselves and be influenced by these drugs, and that it doesn't always have to always be a negative thing. And now Republicans are all over the place.
Now, I only did
Sasha
acid
Shulgin
once.
made me a biochemist, so
I only did acid once, and I didn't have that strong of an experience. But I've done mushrooms uncountable times, and I've done absurd doses of them. And I will not tolerate anything like a trip sitter while I'm on a mushroom trip. Your sober ass is not going to come in here and try to talk to me, dude. Like, no.
See, then you wouldn't have been loud at one of our parties. Stags, you wouldn't have been loud at one of our parties because that was just part of the rules.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, as a
I
person
wouldn't
of
have
color,
gone if I was on mushrooms. If I'm on mushrooms, set and setting, I need to be with only people that are on mushrooms that I trust. Usually outside in the daytime.
Stags. How many times have you done mushrooms?
Let me think. Realistically, probably somewhere between 50 and 100.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. Jenny's talking about when they were teenagers and they were experimenting with stuff. We were talking to a guy here that's done it like over 50 times. I don't think he needs a sitter anymore.
I mean, no, you still do. I mean, as a person of color and growing up a poor person, we always needed people to deal with cops in case we got loud because we were in apartments and so trip sitters for us are super important. And my ass has done enough mushrooms to, pilot a UFO, I guess.
Yeah, I don't go crazy on mushrooms though, really. Like,
I'm pretty quiet. I like to roll on the ground, apparently.
I like to touch things and hold things in my hand. Like, I'll get an otter pop and let it melt in my hand.
I'm big on shrooms. I'd rather do X.
The coolest
amphetamines, nice.
The coolest hallucination experience I ever had on shrooms was I was at my brother's apartment and we were doing shrooms and we're sitting on the couch and we're watching some stupid TV and eaten popcorn, and my brother throws a piece of popcorn into a hole that was in the wall next to the TV, and so then I did too, and we got really got off on the how the popcorn would sail through the air and leave colors behind it, and sometimes they would do loop-de-loops as they went into the hole and all this kind of stuff, and it was great. And when we all straightened up and came down, there was popcorn all over the floor and no hole in the wall. But we both experienced it at the same time. It was like, wow.
We have a Ben.
Is it Avatar Day? It's Avatar Day. It's Avatar. It's Kyle. It's Avatar. Everyone's got their avatars up except for me and Stags.
I know Stags has been sitting like that the whole time.
I noticed that earlier. I'm even wearing my house coat. Fuck you guys.
That's because you're the only two professionals here.
Yeah. I joined because I heard mushrooms.
I didn't feel like putting a hat on or combing my hair or standing up, so I just clicked Avatar and made a new one. And I made that new thumbnail. Get down, son.
I always thought the worst thing that could bring down a mushroom trip was having people around that weren't on mushrooms. I always called them non-believers. And I would get the other, like if we were at a party where there were non-believers and people that were eating, there's a communication breakdown. You can't.
Well, yeah, because you're not communicating with words when you're on mushrooms.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just,
only the people on mushrooms can understand each other.
And it's always a different language according to what group you're in. So it's very difficult. And it's all decided on within an hour of them hitting, I feel like.
It's very understand. Like if I show you my shoelace, you know what's wrong with it. I don't have to explain it to you.
You make funny sounds that sound like the problem.
Yeah. Oh. And then other people are like, you guys are acting weird. Or they'll try to mess with you. That's the worst, is when they try to
I don't like people who do. Yeah. So I grew up with a mother that did that. And I was a medical marijuana patient from the time I was like 13. So my mom would, like, if I over medicated, she'd do that to persuade me not to over medicate. Yeah. And I hated it. It was like, woo, are you high? Like,
has anybody ever done DMT?
Absolutely. Oral
I haven't,
and
but
smoked.
I still want to. That might be the only drug that I haven't done that I still would like to experience once.
I did it one time, and one time was enough. It wasn't a bad experience, but I felt like I saw enough, if that makes sense.
Well, you died.
Chemically, what is DMT?
Dimethyltryptamine.
Oh, really?
It's a naturally occurring chemical in almost every living thing, right?
Yeah, it's in everything, including those like toads that people were like smoking the juice off of.
Yeah,
5-MeO, 5-methoxy DMT. Yeah, 5-MeO.
Yeah, that's
like
one of
ayahuasca does.
That's one of those new age.
Well, ayahuasca is an admixture of a MAOI, monoamine oxidase inhibitor, and DMT, because in your belly you would break down DMT with monoamine oxidases. So you have to add the other plant to be an inhibitor of that, and then the DMT for oral ayahuasca DMT.
There's a story.
MAOIs.
DMT.
Be careful with those MAOIs if you take medications.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You might be taking MAOI. So
if you're taking antidepressants, you might be taking one, or otherwise it just might mess with the ones you're already on, and it can be pretty dangerous.
Yeah.
So just be careful if you are, and just for everybody out there, if you're going to use drugs, make sure you know how to be safe with them.
And always
SSRIs and MDMA.
Yeah, seriously. And always test your drugs if you can.
Yes. Get a drug testing kit.
I'll test your drugs.
They're on Amazon.
Stags will test your drugs for you.
I said, just give.
Hey, I'm the researcher here.
You bought.
Yep, that's crack.
Hey, Stags, you want to work in my lab?
Hey, hold on. I need to test some more. That was too small of a sample. I need more than that.
I would love to trip with you guys.
Rock? Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying right now.
Dr. Cross, I used to work acid rescue at concerts.
Oh, me too. That's why I love
did you?
you, because you mentioned that before, and I used to work with Dance Safe in LA.
No, nobody I know.
Oh.
I'm in Milwaukee. I was in Milwaukee.
This was like way back before med school and stuff. I used to do Dance Safe.
Mhm.
That's so cool. It's so important. I love setting up booths with toys and like fun things for people at the parties. It was so fun. You know what? I used to treat them with THCA when I got back from med school, because that's what I research is the raw cannabis and raw cannabinoids. And THCA extract is really good for changing trips, I noticed. And it works, I think, on synaptic metabolism. Well, that's what we think right now. So it's interesting. Figure that out, like how I was turning around trips with THCA, because it's not really getting people high at all.
That's definitely interesting.
We had this one. What we always called the area where we would take people and settle them down the nursery, and we used to do this one regular outdoor concert that in Milwaukee every summer. It was a spontaneous thing that would happen in one section of the lakefront. And we had nursery there, and something that we realized is that all this marijuana smoke was attracting dragonflies, and they were everywhere. I mean, we're talking hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dragonflies were just so flying all over the place, and the people in the nursery were just like, "Oh, like wow, man, you know,
like Asia, bro."
It was just a real good distractor. So much fun.
There was a time where I was with a buddy and we decided to drop acid, and we each took 2 tabs. It was supposedly 250 micrograms each, so it was a pretty high dose.
Oh yeah.
And about 45 minutes after I took the tabs, I decided I don't want to trip.
Oh, that's the worst. That's
too fucking late. So I told him, like, look, man, before this really kicks in, I'm going home. This isn't good. So I left. I went home, and for the next 12 hours, I was in my bed, just rocking back and forth, sweating, and just in the dark, like, oh no, oh no, oh no.
One of the worst things, I won't say the worst thing with regards to drugs because you can die, but one of the worst things is being high when you don't want to be high.
Seriously, it's horrible.
One time
did you get to depersonalize or anything, or it was just? I mean, in the dark is a thing you really shouldn't do when you're.
Yeah, I was in my own realm.
Yeah. Oh no. Ox mentioned peyote in the chat, and I want to clear something up because I talked about not having a trip sitter on mushrooms. I did synthetic mescaline. Absolutely had a trip sitter for those. Like, I'm not just saying like you don't need a trip sitter ever. I'm saying mushrooms are kind of a different thing personally for me. I don't want you there around me if you're not on them.
Peyote is like a communal drug. It's a community drug. So is Iboga. If you've ever heard of Ibogaine, which they're using to treat drug addiction.
On peyote, if you do peyote, folks, don't ever eat the little white fuzzy things.
Yeah, don't eat those.
They'll just get to stick to your stomach.
Yeah. And those are community drugs, so you should really take them in a ceremony or with people because you need both trip sitters and like other people to vibe and heal with.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've only taken peyote in ceremony.
Down. We had a synthetic analog, okay, and it was
mescaline is
it was a crystalline powder, okay, and we're wandering around downtown Salt Lake going to different party houses and stuff like this, and I talked my friend into giving me some, and so he's got it in these little capsules. He breaks it open, dumps it out, takes half of it and says that's for you, this is half for me, and then he splits it into 2 little lines, And he says, this stuff really burns. And I'm over here thinking like, bro, I've done cocaine with you, but you don't know that I've done so much methamphetamine that I'll never sleep again. This ain't gonna thing in here. So I just took both lines right up the same nostril. And oh my God, it felt like somebody shoved a hot screwdriver in there. Yeah. Boom. And then like 10 minutes later, I started throwing up. And then it was like, one of the most unusual experiences I've ever had. One of the most powerful hallucinatory experiences I've ever had. We were driving down the street in downtown Salt Lake, and it looked like the street lights were like falling off and splashing on the road. I'm like seeing colors I'd never seen before. The dude gave me a balloon of nitrous while I was on it.
Oh man,
why not at this point?
Oh my God! And so the description of that was like, it was like all my senses were identified by a single color on a wheel, and then you spin it, and all the colors smear together. Now play that backwards, and that was sort of the like. It was so. It felt like I was coming back to life.
Wow.
I don't. That probably doesn't make any
sense. I had that experience
on
a lot of acid, like dancing on rainbows, dancing in outer space, because I like to dance, obviously. So that's what I do when I'm high. I mean, like traveling through time in of colors, if that makes sense, and tastes and sounds. Using sound to like time travel. I had that experience of like visualizing myself in the future. Is weird.
The most fun hallucination I've ever had on acid was this guy had these beautiful wooden floors in his apartment, and it was probably old growth oak, because the grain pattern was very distinct, and it was this lovely warm golden color of varnish and stuff on it, from the age of the building and stuff. And I found myself staring at the floor. Okay, one section of the floor that was kind of brightly lit by a couple of lamps. And I started to see the grain move, how things can swirl and, look like they're moving and shifting around. And that was great, and then suddenly below that grain, there was more grain that was going in the opposite directions, or perpendicular instead of parallel. And by the time I was done, there were like 8 different levels of grain, wood grain, that were all shifting in different ways, and I could see and count each one at any time. It was just amazingly detailed and vivid. I will never ever forget it, and it's one of those things that changes you on a trip.
One thing I'll never forget is my one and only DMT trip, where it actually made me a Norse pagan for about a year, because what I saw was, at the time, I could only describe it as the Yggdrasil tree from Norse mythology. It was connected to my fingertips, and it spanned up across the universe. And then everything kind of like faded back to the room I was in, and I just sat there in the dark with my buddy for a while, thinking, I think Thor's real, man. Nice. It was nuts.
Thor is real.
Yeah, Chris Hemsworth is awesome.
Buddy? Another good distractor. Although you got to be careful, because some people can interpret it as heavily negative. Is Salvador Dali paintings?
Mm-hmm.
Like that one big one, The Persistence of Time, with the dripping alarm clock. That's a real good one. People will get deeply into that landscape and find themselves all over the place.
One time my mom took mushrooms and then forgot that she'd taken them.
I've done that.
And she was like, what is going on right now? Like, she legitimately forgot she'd taken them, and she started almost kind of freaking out, not like having a psycho episode or anything like that, but she was like, I think something's wrong with me. Everything seems really weird. I feel really weird right now. I'm like, Mom, we ate an eighth of mushrooms each about 40 minutes ago. I think you're okay.
That happened to me with a shroom tea. A buddy brought some over in the morning. The second rinse of a 9-gram tea, and I drank it. And I thought, well, this shouldn't be too bad. 2 hours passed, nothing had happened at all. I thought it was a dud. So we went to go and get some herb from a buddy of mine. We get up there, And all of a sudden, after I get there, I should say I took a huge dab hit, and the mushrooms and the weed just slammed me all at once. And I shot up out of my chair, looked at my buddy, and I said, "We're leaving now." We got in the car. We were driving back to my place, and the whole time I'm thinking, "This is it. I'm dying. I whatever we just smoked, there was something in it, man. There was something in it. Do you feel weird? I feel weird." He's like, "No, I feel fine." I'm like, "I think I'm dying." And I'm alerting him to every red light, every stop sign, telling him, like, "Please drive safe. I don't want to die in this car." We get back home, and I had to
laugh. That's one of the
no, you can laugh. You can laugh.
But that's one of the, in terms of acid rescue, that's one of the more difficult scenarios that a person gets into is the creeping urge or the creeping threat of death.
Yeah,
that's where people will spring off and do something dangerous and bad to themselves.
Oh no, I was trying to preserve my life. Like I had to get home, and I turned on Bob Ross to watch him paint, and that man was my savior that night.
Perfect, dude. Couldn't have picked better. That sounds like a great night, dude.
Yeah, it does. It does.
It definitely calmed me down.
Except when he does that rapid fire thing with his cleaning out his brush against his painting stand.
How did it turn into a mountain? What the hell? It was just a blob of colors 10 seconds ago, and now it's a mountain.
Right.
Oh my god!
And I will say that there was a moment where he was painting too slowly for me, and I just got stuck in the moment. I'm like, "No, paint faster."
I don't know why, but I absolutely understand what you mean, dude. Like, I know exactly what you mean.
On one trip, I was in Milwaukee. There's this beautiful park. That's just unusually shaped. It's like it's almost a half mile, 3/4 of a mile long, but it's only about 2-3 city blocks wide, and it's right up on top of the bluffs overlooking Lake Michigan. It's one of the richest sections of town and stuff. It's called Lake Park. It's just very picturesque and stuff. We got lost in Lake Park.
Oh no, getting lost.
You can't get lost in Lake Park. You walk for 5 minutes in any direction and you're out on the street. But we got succeeded in getting lost. Oh no. That was strange.
And like whenever you're on most drugs, you think like everybody knows I'm on drugs. Everybody knows I'm on drugs. They probably don't. If you're on mushrooms, they do. They know. They know. They can tell. They can just look right at you and tell. Your eyes are this big and you're being weird. Stop it. Go inside.
I will say, and I put this in the chat, but the craziest thing I've ever done on acid was just dance naked in my backyard at like 3 a.m. to Childish Gambino.
Good choice. Good choice.
Yeah. I hope your neighbors got to see that.
No, nobody could see, as far as I know.
Well, I've never done that.
I also got into my pool at 3 a.m. and it was 50 degrees out, so I may have been at risk of hypothermia.
My favorite thing about tripping is when the trip is over, and you're really tired, but you're still too stimulated to even think about sleeping. Mm-hmm. And you go outside, and the contrast of everything is way accelerated, and the saturation of colors is still way more intense than normal. But you're not hallucinating anymore. It's just everything is coming through really vivid. It's just kind of beautiful.
I find that the after effects of having a trip. This is why I think psychedelics are like anti-addictive, at least in my experience, because when I do them, I really appreciate being sober afterwards. Like after the trip is done and I'm back to normal, I'm like, wow, that was great, but I'd like to be at my base level from now on.
There was one summer when mushrooms were highly abundant in my neighborhood, and I bought so many of them and I ate them every day. And I realized that doesn't do anything. It doesn't do anything if you eat them every day.
No, your tolerance goes up real quick.
Yeah, you have to like double the dose each time to even get any effect. And it's not worth it to me. And they never left me wanting more like that, like cocaine or meth does, or even alcohol or even weed. Like I mean, mushrooms, it's just, for me, it was a discrete experience that is contained. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Ben, you were about to say something when I cut you off.
Oh, I was just going to comment about the addictive aspect, like, because there's some differences genetically that would predispose somebody to being addicted to certain things, and your body might not be susceptible to addiction to that particular substance, but other people might be more susceptible to it.
Beck.
Gotcha.
Views and opinions
expressed. There's different definitions of addiction. For some, it's just any kind of psychological urge or necessity to repeat a behavior or substance. And for other people, addiction has to be also have marked withdrawal symptoms from whatever you're doing.
If we're talking the medical definition of addiction.
Oh, okay.
So what not is a subjective definition. We're talking about a. Let me actually look it up according to because I'm on addiction medicine right now for my rotation. Oh, so, yeah.
Because I actually don't know the medical definition.
That was kind of funny.
The main thing is that it has to cause impairment. But,
I said to my cat, "Shut up," and I went shh like that. Shit, did I not mute?
No, I was looking up something. I was looking up something, and people were waiting for me to say the thing.
Yeah.
I don't like that one. Where's the actual definition? Okay, keep talking. I gotta find like the right definition. But I know, like, with anything psychological, it has to actually cause impairment.
Right.
So it's related to not only, like, typically we're talking physiologic dependence and having impairment, like, in your everyday life. And that's what's going to qualify you for having an addiction. Withdrawal symptoms may or may not be there, but you don't necessarily have to have withdrawal symptoms to be addicted.
That's why many people are absolutely firm that there is no addiction to marijuana, because somebody who, even if they're a long-term smoker, several times a week, if not every day, that they can quit, and they're not going to have any remarkable withdrawal symptoms. Maybe a little sleeplessness for a day or two. But other than that, they're not going to have any.
I know somebody who's
like in an opium addiction, which will just devastate the hell out of you.
You can get addicted to weed.
I have somebody in my immediate friend list.
Absolutely, you can.
Yeah,
but physiologically, nah. It's just not going. It's just not there.
I mean, I've been a daily smoker of weed for the past 9 years, 10 years almost. And recently I've cut back a whole lot. I haven't felt any withdrawal symptoms. I smoke maybe once a day, and that's it.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. I've seen it had to just happen oodles and oodles of time. I myself smoked from 1971 till 2008, at least 3 or 4 times a week. And I quit one day and haven't had it since, and never had a withdrawal or an urge to go back on it, because it was just time to stop.
I see. I used to be the type that would blow through a half ounce a day, and now I take maybe 2 puffs, 3 puffs a day, and I'm good to go.
Yeah,
I disagree, Dr. Cross. Like you can have. Just because you can produce something doesn't mean it's not addictive. I would disagree with that point.
That's just like MDMA is addictive because it releases serotonin, and makes you feel all good and everything. And people want to feel good all the time, so they do it too much, but you have to let your body recover from that. So like Dr. Cross was saying, 30 days between, kids. 30 days between.
Ben, have you ever thought
with
about doing a medical myths
addiction-
of psychedelics?
I'm going to have different drugs on medical myths, but I'm going to do them separately and very carefully.
Okay.
Because I want to make sure I get that stuff right. Like, yeah, it's complicated.
Look up a book. It's probably out of print by now. It was called "Licit and Illicit Drugs." Basic, simple title. At one point, it was kind of almost the book considered the Bible for street drug pharmacology and things. It'd be interesting to get a copy and compare it to current knowledge, how it's changed over the decades.
I think like if Dr. Cross is saying specifically that you can't get addicted physically, we could have a debate about that because I need some evidence, but at least psychologically, you can get psychologically addicted to anything. So that's a separate conversation in itself. But because I think we can't exclude the components of psychological addiction because that's a huge component of addiction disorders.
Yep.
So,
Ben, one of the discussions I've heard many times, and I'm just curious as to what your opinion on it is. The people say one school will say heroin or opiates are the most addictive drugs on the earth, and other people will say nicotine is worse for addiction, not the effects or ramifications later, but just how quick it will addict you. What do you think on that? Have you ever compared that or discussed it with anyone?
I'm pretty sure you're correct that nicotine is more addictive, but I need to confirm that. I had a 12-hour workday and a panic attack in the middle and got hit with transphobia. Bro. And my brain is in all kinds of weird places, and I take boards in a few days. So,
oh man, all the love to you, Ben.
I'm just like, I think my burnout has moved to flat out depression. So like I'm edging into some not fun territory right now. And
oh, brother.
Ben, if you want to do some talking, get a hold of me.
Yeah, you can reach out anytime if you need to.
I had somebody that oh yeah, Dr. Cross, I would agree with that, with that being the most. I was comparing between the two that Jenny had said nicotine's higher than opioids. But no, I had somebody, like an acquaintance from a few years ago, just show up in my DMs and say, "Are you trying to be a guy?"
What?
This is after I already had a panic attack while at work. So I was like,
it's fucking irritating.
I'm like, why do I have to keep doing this?
I hate people.
Like, I absolutely hate it. Like, and I'll have time that will go by and I will have no dysphoria. And I'll be like, what even is dysphoria? Like, I'd be totally fine if I like were to be in a situation where I had to detransition or whatever, because I'm in a good mindset. But then something like that happens. I'm like, oh yeah, this is dysphoria. This is what dysphoria feels like. And I'm reminded.
2 step forward and then 6 back. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Ben, is there anything we can do to help?
Buddy.
No. I just like, that's why I'm like a little sluggish tonight, because I'm like, because my attending to is, I mean, granted, he gave me, like, he's super cool. He gave me half the day off yesterday. He's giving me all of Friday off because I'm studying for boards. But, and by studying, I mean I'm tapering down my studying, because kind of at this point, like, there's not a whole lot of points I can gain by cramming for the rest of this week. So it's like more so taking care of myself that's gonna get me points. But
good.
Just like but he kept me for 12 hours. So because he's like, yeah, we'll do a suture lab after this. I'm like, okay.
Are these the boards you're taking? Are these like an interim boards, or are these the one to make you an official full-time doctor?
Oh no, these are the boards. There are 3 rounds of these.
Oh, cool.
I already took the first round, so you take the first one after second year. You take the second one after third year, and take the third one after internship.
Oh, cool. I'm got my fingers crossed for you.
So that's why I'm panicking a lot, because I'm like, I can't fail them. But this isn't easier. The one I took last year was the worst out of all of them. So, like, that one's done. But so this one shouldn't be too bad. It's just long.
I'm thoroughly confident in you. You're so damn smart.
Yeah.
And yeah, Ben, I just want to reach out and say, like, I've been told I'm a good listener. So if you need to just unload completely, hit me up.
Yeah,
it's no problem.
I unloaded
day or night,
on SR
whatever.
earlier today.
He's a good one to do it to.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're here for you.
Always. He knows that.
For whatever that's worth.
I like you, Ox. We just have differing opinions on some things, and that's totally fine. We're allowed to disagree on some things.
Drama?
Not drama.
You guys were
just Ox and
exactly
I
the same
sometimes disagree
person.
on things. We're both very type A and just disagree on some things.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
it's fine.
And I was gone when Dr. Cross put in the chat that alcohol is the most dangerous and addictive drug on earth. I personally, from my anecdotal experience, tend to agree with that. I think alcohol is way more dangerous than people, but it's also way more meterable. Is that the word? Like one beer, if you take one hit of crack, you're high on crack. If you're not, that wasn't crack. But so alcohol is a little easier to moderate your intake than some other drugs, but it's also way easier to just totally go the other direction. And I've never seen somebody smoke a joint and go beat the crap out of their wife and kids.
Weed is definitely safer than alcohol.
Oh, way.
One thing about being a diabetic means I can't drink, so I'm not even tempted.
I was a heavy drinker and a heavy meth user.
What I was referring to is the fact that on, for example, cigarettes. If you take a non-smoker who maybe has had interest in what's smoking all about, and they smoke one and cough their brains out and maybe get sick, and maybe not, because they're on those first hits, you definitely get off on the nicotine. You can feel it. It's kind of like, oh boy, this is kind of feels good. That pretty much after you finish your first pack of cigarettes, you're hooked for life. It's never going to go away. And opioids aren't like that. You can definitely, it doesn't take many doses of opioids to put the nail through you. But tobacco is much worse, just much worse, much quicker.
We know there's less an incentive to quit. It's not as immediately damaging to your day-to-day life as something like alcoholism or opioid addiction. That may play into why it's harder to quit. Because it was easy for me to quit drinking and doing meth because I was literally destroying my life actively in a measurable and seeable way. You know what I mean? I would wake up some days and be like, I have to quit doing this or I'm going to die,
People don't tend to acknowledge the long-term effects. If it's not immediate, then it's not in the forefront of their mind.
Right.
Addiction is a bad animal to have on you.
Mm-hmm.
There's just no two ways about that.
I went to AA for a few years, but I think I've got more time under my belt without it. I call myself sober, even though I smoke weed. If somebody came in here and with a bag of mushrooms, I'd eat those. Hell, I can't even say I wouldn't do a line of cocaine once in a while someday in my life, but I probably wouldn't. If I was smart, I wouldn't. But I can't drink. I can't drink at all. Sorry, go ahead.
I've done lines of cocaine that was supposedly this really heavy duty stuff, and everybody else who was doing them was like, "Oh man, this is like great cocaine," and I didn't feel a damn thing, not a single effect at all.
I've heard that. I've heard that from a few people. I've also heard people say like one person I was talking to, they're like, smoking crack doesn't do a goddamn thing for me. And I'm like, really? And they're like, no, not a thing. It doesn't get me high. And I like talk to them for a minute and they're like, yeah, I smoke it. And then I get this really intense buzz for like 10 minutes and then it just goes away. I'm like, no, that's it. That is it.
One of the very insidious things about smoking that speaks to me, at least, about its power of addiction, is that if you work towards quitting and you've been quit for a long time. I quit smoking and I was dry for a year and a half. And then one night, over a couple nights, I was working on a movie set and I was just tense as fuck. And a guy was rolling his own cigarettes and he rolls me one and gives it to me. And I smoked it and I was addicted again. Right there, right then, I had to go out and buy a pack immediately. And this was in the middle of the night, 3 o'clock in the morning. I was just like absolutely driven to go find a pack of cigarettes that I could have. It's amazing.
Yeah. No, trust me, I know.
I pride myself on the fact that I've never really tried anything hard. Now, besides psychedelics, I've never done anything else.
You're not missing anything, dude.
Yeah.
Except maybe a good fuck. Blow your mind, but you do that without it too.
Excuse me. Sorry. Should have muted.
You're fine. No worries.
Yeah, alcohol.
Yeah, sometimes school is absolute misery, and I just want to, like, and this is not an exaggeration. Sometimes I just like want to run off into the woods in a camper and just like not deal with anything ever again. Like that's where I'm at with school right now, and I'm like, can't do that. But no, this is like the burnout is not good. It's not good.
We can all see it. We can all see it, dude. I can't wait till we get to see this never be you anymore, because about once a week it seems like you're in this state of just exhaustion and
it's horrible. And I live alone. I don't have any of my classmates here. Like I'm on a rotation by myself. I've been on rotations by myself for several months now. So I've had like no interaction with people. It's just been, except for you all on the internet, which is great. But like I need some physical contact with another human. That's not my like superior at work who's just telling me what to do. Like right. I just need something, and my friends are all on like dealing with the same thing, so I can't just be like, hey, want to hang out, because they're all on different rotations with different schedules. So just like, what do? You grind, and that's it. That's all you can do.
I've got a similar experience in my life, because I don't have a lot of in-person friends. I mean, my best friend passed away last February, and ever since then, it's the way I cope is I just hang out with you all online, and I'm missing that in-person contact, and so in that regard, I understand.
I am in the same boat, Kyle. I mean, my friends didn't die. I'm sorry to hear that, but I sort of lost any friends I had over the whole COVID, BLM, everything over the past 2 years. I don't really have any IRL friends that I go hang out with at all. And so this is the only social interaction that I get, except for with my kids. And that's not really the same. And I don't mean to sound ungrateful that I have my kids here with me, that I love them more than a million YouTube chats. You know what I mean? But you got to have friends and other adults to talk to and stuff. And it's hard not having any in-person support network. I think that's what we're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been on that
kick. And like the other thing I mention like frequently is the fact that like my school gives us like free counseling, but the problem is, when are their counseling hours? During the business day. Guess what we're all doing during the business day?
working
on
or
rotations.
resting. Yeah,
That's
So-
a gross miscalculation on their part.
So it's like when do we get this? And then they're like, well, you all are depressed, so we're going to teach you about mental health. And the way they do that is by giving us busy work, where we have to like do these online courses about mental health. Like, so you're making it worse because I already don't have time to get anything done, and now you're just giving me more things to get done instead of actually getting help. Like, the best thing is to make help accessible. That's what will fix this, and to normalize, and this is for every field, not just mine, but normalize like mental health care, and normalize having a work day and a work week that is like tolerable for the human psyche. Like, we're not meant to work these crazy hours. We're not meant to be in work mode all the time. You need boundaries. We're meant to have like lives outside of work. But
I agree.
I'm
starting to believe more and more that nobody should have to work if they don't want to, or when they don't want to. I really
Dan,
think
I wish I was there and could just give you a big hug and let you snuggle.
I want a hug.
I feel terrible for you.
It seems to me like you're doing really good. It might feel overwhelming, and like you have all these thoughts and things that you vent to us, and that's great. But the impression that I get is that it's really hard for you, but that you're handling it as well as anybody could be expected to.
Agreed.
I think so. Better. I think so.
I think
definitely.
better, because there's a lot of people that can't do what he's doing.
Yeah,
I could never go through all that.
Not a chance with me. No way.
I think there was a recent like thread on Twitter that like all these doctors and med students, like the question was, if you have children, like, would you encourage them to go into medicine? And everyone's like, fuck no.
Yeah.
The overwhelming answer is fuck no. So that's
people will change their attitudes about that when they're older and farther away from it, though, because a lot of medical professionals do push their children into medicine.
Yeah, maybe like, because I'm just probably following the wrong crowd, because, and by wrong crowd I mean the anti-capitalist crowd, because like all the doctors I follow are like super progressive, and so of course everyone that I know, so the majority of people that I see, which is a very biased sample, all say fuck no. But those are all the people that care about mental health. So it's not the capital. It's not the capitalists.
No.
Well, hey y'all, I've loved the conversation tonight, but I really need to get to bed.
Get to bed.
Well, thanks
Kyle.
for coming in, Cosmic.
Well, thank you all for having me.
The best Kyle.
Oh, don't start that shit.
You are
That's my dad,
Kyle,
Mr.
though.
Cosmic.
Later,
Good night,
Gator.
buddy.
Kiss.
Sleep
Y'all have a good night. Love y'all.
You too.
You too, buddy. Love you.
Oh, I forgot to mention, while Kyle's here, we're celebrating Kyle on Friday. So for trivia night, which isn't going to be trivia this week, it's going to be bingo this week, because I wanted to play bingo. So,
okay.
But we're going to celebrate Kyle and his wonderful announcement on Friday. So everyone show up.
I think I missed the announcement, or I'm just not recollecting.
Oh, he came out. He came out to like all of the internet on Twitter and in the Tang group. You were there, Beck.
And to his parents and to his siblings, and everybody is being supportive and great. And he's like, he said, I'm pansexual, and everybody was like, okay, cool.
Okay.
Like,
I was just going to ask, because I'm so deep into leftist social spaces that I'm like, came out as what though? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So everybody's like really like supportive of him, and I think it's great.
That's cool.
So we're going to celebrate Kyle on Friday.
I came out as pansexual just sort of quietly. I just say it now. Like, I never made like a big announcement or anything. I think I said once on Twitter, like, I think I might be pansexual. And then I just am.
There you go.
I came out as a wish sexual. I wish I had some sex. You know?
Same. Can't help it, man. I'm Italian. Need sex. It's testosterone's not helping the situation.
I'm also demisexual, so I don't really like. I'd rather just stay home most of the time. The
Hey
state
Ben,
of the
medical poop. I had my bone scan this week, and I'm still hollow boned. It doesn't improve much over the last 2 years.
Oh man,
like a bird.
Well, yeah, osteoporosis is, you lose a lot of internal bone structure and things like that. And,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to make light of it.
No, that's all right. That's all right.
You
I'm
did
not
say
dead
kind
from
of
it.
smart
I could be, but
ass-ish.
not yet.
Yeah, I was just trying to match the vibe.
Right. Same. Hi, Shane. How are you? Dave said,
Hi,
I'm an
Shane.
opportunist sexualist. I mean, if someone nice is offering, why not? Titan said, I remember sexual.
I remember one time I had entered into an agreement to have sex with a woman for a bag of methamphetamine, and I couldn't go through with it.
I've noticed in my life, there's like this pattern that every time I'm with a woman that's really good in bed and it's great sex, then there's like this 2-year dry spell. So I'm sitting here going, God damn it, is it going to happen again? Like, this would be time number 4.
Well, what you do is next time you do get together with somebody and you have great sex, just convince yourself it's average, and maybe you won't feel so bad later.
There you go.
Right? God, seriously, I know.
I think it's been like 4 or 5 years since I had sex.
Huh.
So
I can't say that.
Just write that down on your mirror and you'll be fine.
I feel better. Thank you.
Well, like I said, I'm a demisexual, dude. I don't like to go and sleep around. I like to only have sex with people that I feel like an attachment to.
Yeah, I'm like that too. That's part of my problem. I mean, yeah, can I go to the bar and go get strange? Sure. Do I want to? Not really.
No,
what is the point?
I'd rather just go home and do it myself.
Yeah, exactly. It's easier. It's cheaper. I mean, fuck it. Let's be honest. There's plenty of porn. That's why it's there. Fuck it.
I've already seen it all, dude. It's on. I'm starting to get reruns.
Yeah. Reruns.
I was back at the beginning. I got Bush again. I got Harry Bushes again. It started me over in the beginning.
Shit. Oh, you're not back to Long Dong Silver, are you?
Dirk Diggler. And John. Oh, what was his name? John. Oh, what was his fucking name? Dude, Val Kilmer played in that movie.
John. Jenny, what was that guy's last name?
I have no clue what you're talking about.
A very well hung porn star from back in the day, in the like 70s, 80s.
Trouble for like bashing some crackheads in with a
I definitely have no idea what you're talking about. I've never.
Val Kilmer played him in a movie called Wonderland.
Jenny said, I've never watched porn. She just has this huge stack of magazines next to her bed.
No, I really, honestly, to God, have not.
John Holmes.
Holmes,
they called him Johnny Wad.
There, Ox, that's it.
They called him Johnny Wad.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means.
Well, did you know you've heard of the group Steely Dan? Did you know that's the name came from fuck, I forget which film. A porn film. Steely Dan was a brand of dildo.
Really?
Yes, really.
That's hilarious. There you go. That's where the L goes. Thanks, Shane. Ox types too fast sometimes and misspells shit.
That's okay. I know what he means mostly.
Yeah. He was right though. That's what I couldn't think of Holmes. That's it. Yep.
God, Ben, you look so tired.
I'm doing questions that I didn't finish earlier today. So.
Oh man. Jeez.
And I still have my Pico project due on Monday when I take my board. So I have to do a whole project because I've already started it, but I still have to do all that.
Ugh. Still have to finish it though, right?
I have a lot more to do on it, yeah.
Well, I could help you out. You'd save you time that you don't have to study for the boards. I'll take the boards for you.
Oh no, I'll do it.
No. Ben wants to excel. I'm sorry, Jenny, but neither one of us have been through medical school. I don't think we can help him with that.
Dave asked if you would continue to have meh sex with someone who is a great person just because they are nice, even though the sex is just meh and likely never be great. That was my last.
I've done that before.
That was my last relationship, and at a certain point, I realized that they weren't actually even that nice of a person, and that sort of, and then all of a sudden, the bad sex weighed heavily.
All my sex pre-transition was pretty much just mindless one night stands, and yeah, they were great at the time. Yeah, big deal, but they felt horrible actually the next morning, and they feel horrible today, and I regret it forever. It was a stupid thing to do.
Yeah, I've only done that a couple times, and one person, it happened multiple times with the same person, and I actually did end up starting to develop some feelings for that person, and then they died in a car crash and a DUI.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Bro, what the fuck?
They were a very drunk person. They were a good person, though. They were a good person. They had their weirdnesses, but I guess we all do. I miss them. Her. I miss her. The only other one night stand I remember having was garbage. My friend took me over to this girl's house because it was his girlfriend's friend or whatever. And I just wasn't really interested. And I'm like, don't leave me there, dude. And then he did. He's like faked an emergency with his dad and left me there overnight. So I ended up having sex with her. And then like, it was just weird. I don't like it.
That is kind of weird. Yeah. I've had people do shit like that to me before. Go to a party with a bunch of people, and then they all leave with other people, and then the one with the car leaves, and you're like, yo, man, oh no, I gotta go. You know you were my ride, right?
Yeah.
And this is back in the day before cell phones, so you had to be like, can I borrow your phone, please? I gotta find somebody to come pick me up. You can spend the night if you want.
I remember at one point
I might end up having to fuck her. I don't know. Jesus.
This girl kept getting on me and trying to kiss me and stuff. And I remember at one point, this could have been a scene from a sitcom or a movie or something. She comes in to kiss me, and I just reach over and grab the bottle of whiskey, spin that boy off, bottoms up, or just glug, 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 glug. All right. And then went in for the like it was like, hold on 1 second. Let me do one thing first.
That way we can only have sex for like 3 to 5 minutes and then I'll pass out. Perfect.
I would have thought you'd puke for a while.
Man, I faked passed out on 2 different chicks just because I was like, nah, dude, I can't do this.
Yeah.
Fucking started sobering up. It was bad. They didn't get mad or anything. They thought I was really passed out, and they were like, all right, fuck. And then that was it. They just like covered me up with a blanket with sleep. So it was all right. Didn't try to stab me in my sleep or anything. Oh, this cat, man, she is riled up.
I do have a Patreon. Ox is wondering if I have a Patreon. I do have one.
Ben, you should put it in the chat so Ox can copy it. And
yeah, I need to find the link though. That's what I'm pulling up.
I used to be so shy about that kind of thing. But the more time you spend on here and see how much people do that and stuff, it's like, it's pretty normal to share your Patreon links, your PayPal links.
Yeah, and I offer people things like, I'm not just asking for money. I mean, I am, but it's like I'm hopefully giving people, content that they want. Like I have an after show for Medical Miss that's Patreon only. So It's like I do give them early releases and stuff, so they do get content that other people don't get.
And I don't know how, but I've yet to manage to catch an episode of Medical Myths. I've not yet once watched one single episode of it. When does it come on? Friday?
On
2 p.m. Eastern.
2 p.m. Eastern.
Saturdays.
Yep.
Yeah.
This week it is Neil. Neil is on this week.
That seems like a reasonable time for me to stop whatever I'm doing and watch a live stream.
It'll be fun. And it's Neil. So I'm hoping everyone comes to support Neil because he's great.
I'm probably usually streaming myself. Great. That's probably why I've never caught it.
That's probably why. Yeah.
I'm too dysfunctional at that time of day. I haven't even woken up yet.
I'm about at that point. My sleep schedule's so messed up. I blame Sea of Thieves.
Oh, also, can I shill another thing? Because I haven't been shilling this because we just confirmed that it's happening. But Friday before bingo, I gotta think about times because it's 2 p.m. my time, so that's 4 p.m. Central Time. Where SR and I are gonna be doing another episode of Sci-Fi Breakdown where we talk about debates and shit. So come watch that, and then afterwards, come play bingo on Twitch.
The most confusing thing in the world was when I was going back and forth between here in Utah and down to Phoenix, Arizona, and my kids lived in Hawaii where they also don't do daylight savings time.
Oh, yeah.
And so we're trying to remember whether it's 3 or 4 hours difference at any given time of the year. But then I go to Phoenix and they don't use daylight savings. It got very confusing.
So confusing. Like, I like being on Mountain Time. I don't like being on Pacific Time. I want to go back to Mountain Time. That's one reason why, like, because there's a residency program for family medicine at Tripler, which is in Hawaii, which, like, sounds great to get paid to go live in Hawaii, but then you're stuck there for like 3 years. Well, it is not, you can leave, but it's like, think about the cost to leave that you got to cover. What and island? Then the time, I don't know what island it's on, but it's like, if you're going to go visit your family or your friends on the mainland, like, that's all the time and money. Like, you're not going to have time to do that in residency. And then, like, even to stream, if I were to be a YouTuber, like, I'm not going to be able to make anybody streams because that's middle of the day for me. Like,
bro, have you ever been to Hawaii?
No.
It is beyond description.
Like, it's great, but
paradise,
we're talking 3 years.
3 of the most wonderful years of your life.
Yeah, that I won't be able to, like, do anything with my channel because, like, everything will be on time that is in the middle of me working.
Yeah, it's like 5 o'clock or it's like 6 o'clock in Hawaii right now. It is fucking paradise, dude. It's
like, I'm going to apply for it, but like, and I hear it's a good program, but if I have other options that are closer, that would also
the time difference like 6 hours.
It's about 4 from me, so depending on where you're at, it's
so yeah, that's really difficult. That'd be really difficult to keep up with the community, and I think I need it.
You'd go to stream and be going to bed.
It like never gets colder than 65 and it never gets hotter than 90.
Yeah.
Oh my
God. All year long.
Great, but
all year long. Just beautiful.
And Hawaii is an extremely trans-friendly state.
Very progressive, very LGBTQ friendly.
Yeah, but it's everything. Like, it's on my list. It's just not my number one. It's just not my number one program at this time. But I'm still gonna interview there. So I just won't do a whole month there. I'll just do an interview.
Yeah.
Well, if you end up there and you still want to do your YouTube stuff, pay me $20 a week and I'll watch your YouTube thing and write you a review on it. And
I'm not paying people to watch my channel.
I spent Christmas 2017 on the beach in Maui, and that was an amazing experience. I went there with a purpose. I was on a mission, so that was sort of distracting from getting to enjoy the beauty of it all. But I'll never forget how amazing it was. Just everything. It's super sweaty though. It's really humid. But there's no natural predators. There's no snakes at all on the islands. No snakes.
Except the lawyers.
Instead of cockroaches, well, yeah, and the Airbnb people. Instead of cockroaches, you have lawyers and Airbnb people, and geckos. You have geckos instead of bugs in your house.
I heard that there's a millipede that's about 6 inches long and it can bite you and poison you.
Maybe, or maybe a centipede.
Centipede, millipede, they're the same thing. What the heck?
No, they're very different.
And they have a lot of kava.
Mm-hmm. And a dozen eggs is about $7.
No.
Yeah,
it's expensive.
There are chickens everywhere on Maui. Everywhere. There are chickens everywhere. Why are the eggs so expensive?
Jeez, that is unfair. What we pay what a night dollar was? They went up with this latest crunch, $1.29 a dozen here.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, it's crazy, but because it's the shipping, it's getting the stuff there that costs so much. So
yeah, I mean here they're like $2.50 to $3 for the regular ones.
When you see your McDonald's commercials that say at participating locations only, you could probably assume that the one in Hawaii is not going to be a participating location. Your Big Mac's going to cost $10 probably.
Oh yeah.
Damn.
I mean, they basically do right now anyway, though. Like Big Macs are expensive now.
Are they? I thought you could get like that 2 Big Macs and a 10-piece and a couple drinks for like $15.
I don't know. I just know like McDonald's has gone up in price since like I was a kid.
I haven't gone there a lot in the past couple years either.
2 for $6 right now.
Oh, okay. So I guess right now they're a good deal.
I remember when Burger King did the $1 Whopper back in the 90s. That was so amazing. We ate so many Whoppers.
McDonald's had a $1 menu for a couple of years or so, and then they stopped it. It's like they were losing money on it, and just said "fuck you" to everybody and
changed it to the value menu.
I worked at a Wendy's for a little bit, and that was not a fun time.
I worked at a McDonald's, and that's one of the best restaurants I've ever worked in, as far as like cleanliness of the food and everything, like the smells in there, everything. Like I won't eat at a Taco Bell. I actually have a higher opinion of McDonald's since I worked there than I used to.
Please don't degrade Taco Bell. Please don't.
Have your thing. Have your thing.
They'll say Wendy's and Burger King have the best burgers if you're going to a shitty fast food joint. If you want to go to like fast food but without the drive-through and you don't go to Five Guys and you have one, you're crazy because Five Guys are probably the fastest, best burger. But they also are really good and they're fresh burgers.
Yeah. Yeah, it's worth it. I think it's worth it.
Yeah. Because it tastes like you made it at home. I'm willing to pay for that.
Yeah, like Wendy's has good food, like for as cheap as it is, but the work culture is absolutely horrible. Like, and it was just terrible. At least like in the area I was in Colorado, like I think a lot of my issues had to do with management, and especially our district manager was like the worst person and super sexist, and I did not like it. He was like because I liked working the grill, and he was basically like, yeah, you're like too he didn't say it in exactly this words, but he tried to get them to not let me work grill anymore because I was small. I was like, I could do the same fucking job that anybody else can. Like, don't you think that I'm frail? Like, all I gotta do is lift some fry boxes. Like, that's the most you gotta do, and that's not even that much. Like, it is dumb. It was dumb.
And everybody in the kitchen has to be able to lift those up.
Yeah, like, so I already, like, but he was under this impression that, like, only dudes could work the grill, and I wasn't, like, transitioned at that time. So, like, but it was still like let people flip meat who want to flip the meat. Like, it's not that hard of a job.
At McDonald's, you don't even have to flip the meat. It has a double grill. It comes down and cooks the meat.
I'm only 6 inches taller than you, Ben, and I used to work at a fucking I worked at a Long John Silver's, and I was a fry cook. I was over top of that fryer all day, and I was short as fuck. And you know what? I did it anyways, and I was a damn good fry cook. My shit didn't get burnt. My fucking fryer was clean. My fryers were clean all the time. Like, I did my shit right. So, yeah, people saying that. But luckily for me, I found a place where, because at that time, I looked female, and I went and worked at a place where there was a woman manager, and so she fucking hired me because...
Oh yeah, like the one good manager we had was a woman, but like the district manager like sucks so much that like I only worked there for like 2 years, and I think I worked under 4 different managers. What? Like, because the district people would just drive these people out. Yeah, and like it was so terrible. Like, if you're getting that many new managers, like there's a problem.
That's just fast food shit, man. That's just how it is.
Oh yeah,
fast food is ugly, nasty, fucking shit.
And the corporate for those places is god awful.
Agree, Ox. If you can find a good burger, hell yeah. Shane said I work as a server on the weekends at a steakhouse. Fuck, Shane. Do you live near me, bro? Hook me up. I love a good steakhouse. Yeah, no, I agree with you, Ox. If you can find I like mom and pop places. Especially it's like the mom and pop places that are next to a bar, or they serve the food, into the bar and shit. Hell yeah. It's usually good food. It's either like that cheap frozen shit that they just fry, or it's really good food.
The fast food joint I used to like was Ponderosa Steakhouse. They have those near neck of the woods.
Oh yeah, I remember Ponderosas. Yeah, they still have them over in where I used to live, like where I grew up. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was really poor quality meat that was just tenderized to death and beaten within an inch of its death.
Yeah,
but it was salty, greasy, sweet, and it was perfect.
Yeah. No, they're not as bad as they used to be. Their meat has improved a lot, but they're still not like, Texas Roadhouse.
Oh, they're still around?
Pick what? Oh yeah, there's Ponderosa still. I think it's in maybe Pittsburgh area, northern West Virginia.
Oh, because they disappeared
somewhere around that area. Yeah, I can't think exactly where last time I saw one, but it's been a few years.
What I wish all you could share in is the fast food restaurant Culver's that we have from around here. They're in several states in the Midwest now: Indiana, Ohio, Illinois, Iowa, Minnesota, and Wisconsin. Really excellent quality food.
Yeah, that's right.
Price appropriately for it.
That's right, Ox. That's the best thing that ever happened to Ponderosa was that fucking buffet they had. Yeah, Mage. They don't have Fuddruckers anymore. They had those when I lived in Orlando, Florida, and I always called them Red Fuckers. They did have some pretty good burgers, though. Yeah.
Stags, what color are your eyes?
My eyes?
Yeah.
They're a very wonderful blue.
Same.
We have a panel of all blue eyes.
Whoa.
We
are the majority.
As a redhead with blue eyes, I am about 10 times more rare than a trans person.
Yet apparently you're more valid than us.
I think you're pushing those statistics, bro. I don't think that's correct.
Well, they say that blue eyes are going to disappear from the genome.
No,
that there's just not enough of us to sustain.
The recessive.
What is?
Blue eyes.
No. I don't think.
But they're not going to disappear.
That's still going down through my family. I was the first one to have, the second one to have them. My grandpa had them first. And then they skipped all my brothers and sisters and my mom and everything. And I got blue eyes. And then.
See, it's It's recessive, but it's not like one gene controls it. There, I think, like 16 or so different genes that regulate eye color. And you can have different ways that you get a blue-eyed person, because blue isn't a color. So it's a lack of pigment. So anything that could cause a lack of pigment in one area could cause blue eyes. So
I wish we could change the
multiple.
color of our iris. I would love to have like purple.
I think
red.
there's surgeries that can do that.
Jenny.
There's contacts.
You can buy
there's
soft
surgeries that can do it
contacts for
too.
like $10, $15 or $5, and you just pop them in and you have a different eye color.
Yeah, I'm not going to trust any cheap contact lens.
Oh, it's so common. They make them so much now. It's not even like a big deal.
Yeah, they've been around for 20 years or more.
Yeah, it's like an accessory.
Available.
They're like an accessory now, literally.
Yeah.
I mean, the ones they sell you like that are colored, you can get a prescription that's colored, and that's going to cost you a lot of money. But if you're getting just plain colored contacts with no prescription, they're cheap.
Yeah, I can't put them in.
Prescription that costs so much.
I cannot put contacts in my
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 3 hours.
It's 3 hours. Okay, guys, we're going to bed now. And
bedtime.
Bedtime. I knew she said 3, and I was like, I know exactly what you're doing right now. It took me a second though.
I didn't. I was waiting. I thought it was going to be more exciting than that.
Waiting for the fireworks or something, bro, because that shit ain't happening. I'm not fancy on this channel.
Thought she was about to drop the hardest of shakes.
If I was fancy, I'd have more subs. But,
well, if I ever come down again like that and start moaning real loudly, you'll know what's going on.
I do have to go to bed, so I am going to end this though. So, unless Ben wants to stay on with you guys, but I have to be.
Nah, I'm okay.
Yeah.
Ben, okay, I'm serious. If you need an ear or a shoulder,
I'll let you know. Okay.
All right. Well, everybody in the chat, I appreciate you guys. Love, support, everything you do, all the advocacy, and yeah, you're fucking amazing. So I appreciate you guys stopping by tonight. Everybody on the panel, thanks for coming by. It's good to see everybody. Good to have good conversations, which pretty much usually happen with us up here. So definitely appreciate it. So everybody out there, take care of yourselves. Take care of one another. And most of all, not least of all, but most of all, have some peace in your life.